Power rushed into my body. It crashed through me, slamming into every bone, every muscle, every cell. I heard my own heartbeat, getting faster, my blood roaring through my veins like a river breaking through a dam, my bones creaking like they were about to shatter. Then a voice, coming from inside me, cold, mechanical, emotionless, identical to the one from the heavenly tower. Second ability awakening initiated. Target, Su Lin. Current ability, unknown, exceeds evaluation range. Randomly generating second ability, generating. Result, D-rank attack ability, strength enhancement, 2x. Confirm, my heart dropped. D-rank, strength enhancement, 2 times. Did my luck passive fail? Could it not change my awakening after all? My fingers clenched. Then, something moved inside me. Not the Star Source Stone's power. Not the awakening energy. Something else entirely. More mysterious. More elusive. Like an invisible hand reaching out and plucking a single string on the loom of fate. I knew exactly what it was. My passive, favor of fate, kicking in. The mechanical voice suddenly glitched. Warning, unknown interference detected. Awakening result regenerating. Generating. Result, life sovereign, HP enhanced to 10,000-fold, exceeds evaluation range. Additional effect, every attack deals 1% of maximum HP as bonus damage. Confirm, my heartbeat skipped. HP enhanced 10,000-fold. My current HP was 60.02 quadrillion. Multiply that by 10,000. 600.2 quintillion. And every single attack would carry 1% of that as bonus damage. I took a deep breath and forced the smile back down where nobody could see it. Confirm. The power exploded inside me the second I confirmed. My body was being torn apart and rebuilt. Every inch of skin burning, every muscle seizing, every bone creaking like it was about to snap. It hurt. Worse than the soul burning. Way worse. But I bit down and didn't make a sound. 10 full minutes of blinding light and agony. Then, silence. I was kneeling in front of the groove, drenched in sweat, clothes soaked through, hair plastered to my forehead, gasping for air. I opened my eyes. Golden text floated in front of me. Second awakening complete. Ability obtained. Life sovereign. Rating, exceeds evaluation range. The Blood Flame King stood over me, staring. His expression was a mess. Shock, disbelief, greed, and something else fighting for space on his face. What rank? He asked. His voice was shaking. I looked up at him. Exceeds evaluation range. His pupils shrank. Again? Both awakenings exceeded evaluation? What kind of person was I? What type? HP amplification. 10,000-fold. His breathing stopped. 10,000-fold. SSS rank abilities maxed out at 200. My second awakening alone matched the rarest geniuses who got SSS on both awakenings. He'd given me the best Star Source Stone, the best awakening environment, the best everything, but he'd never dared hope for anything good. Second awakenings were too random. A 10-fold HP boost would have made him happy. 50-fold, and he'd have been thanking the heavens. Just getting any HP type ability at all would have been a win. And I'd gone and pulled 10,000-fold. HP amplification. Rule breaking. Again. There's more, I said. He blinked. More? I stood up, rolled my neck. My whole body crackled and popped. Every attack deals bonus damage equal to 1% of my maximum HP. The chamber went dead silent. The Blood Flame King stood frozen like someone had cast a spell on him. Mouth open, eyes wide. His expression cycled from shock to disbelief to ecstasy to fear. He was afraid. Afraid of me. A level 20 kid. 60.02 quadrillion base HP. Times 10,000-fold. That was 600.2 quintillion HP. Every attack carrying 1% of that as bonus damage. 100% Thorn's Reflection. 100% HP regen per second. Stacks of control skills, damage skills, survival skills. He took a step backward. For the first time, what I saw in his eyes wasn't greed or admiration. It was raw, genuine terror. He couldn't control something like me. Then I saw the relief wash over him. Because Shui Wei had the soul enslavement crystal. My life and death were in her hands. As long as she was alive, I couldn't break free. As long as she was alive. He took a deep breath and buried the fear. Good, he said. Voice steady again. Very good. He nodded, turned, and walked out. The stone door slammed shut. Just me and Shui Wei. She'd been standing in the corner the whole time. Hadn't said a single word. She looked at me. I looked at her. What are you staring at? She snapped suddenly. Think you're hot stuff because you awakened something good? I said nothing. She walked over and tilted her face up at me, those red eyes reflecting my face. 10,000-fold. Rule-breaking tier. Plus bonus damage. She said each word slowly. Are you literally cheating? I thought about it. Probably. She stared at me for several seconds. Then she laughed. Not the smug, superior laugh. A real one. The kind where you're genuinely happy for someone else. Fine. She reached up and patted my shoulder. You win. God himself is spoon-feeding you. She turned and headed for the exit. Took 2 steps, then looked back. You coming, or you want to sleep in here? I followed. She walked fast, thin fabric floating behind her. I kept about a meter of distance. At the entrance to her quarters, I turned to leave. She called out again. Hey, I looked back. She stood in the doorway, sunlight pouring over her from behind. You're dying to go grind level 20 rifts right now, aren't you? I paused. She read the answer on my face instantly. Her mouth curled up in an, I knew it, expression. But she held up one finger. Normal tier 2 planets don't have any rifts below level 100. Our heavenly tower only has floors 100 and above. My brow creased. No sub 100 rifts? Then how did anyone level up? She saw my confusion and continued. Every tier 2 planet uses teleportation arrays to send people to a special planet. That planet is where all sub 100 awakeners from every tier 2 world go to climb the heavenly tower and clear rifts. She paused, choosing her words carefully. We call it the origin star. Origin star? I repeated. Yes, she nodded. It's enormous. About 10,000 times the size of Blood Flame Star. Or 1,000,000 times the size of Blue Star. 1,000,000 blue stars. It's special, she went on, her tone getting more serious. The rifts there are different from the ones you cleared before. All those rifts you found on Blue Star, they were branches sent out from Origin Star. Like tree roots and tree branches. I understood immediately. The rifts I'd been clearing were the branches. Origin Star had the roots. The source of everything. So, she looked at me. The rifts there don't close after you clear them. I froze. They don't close? That meant I could run them again. And again. And again. She saw my expression and smiled. Yeah, you're thinking exactly what I think you're thinking. They stay open. You can grind them as many times as you want. But, she held up 2 fingers. First, the difficulty is several times harder than the rift you cleared before. A rift that took you 1 hour on Blue Star might take a whole day here. Maybe longer. Second, rewards don't repeat. First clear gives you a skill or item. Every clear after that only gives points. I nodded. That made sense. If you got a new skill every time, you'd be unstoppable after a few hundred runs. And one more thing. She held up a 3rd finger. Every rift has a ranking board. Fastest time, highest score, it's all posted for everyone to see. Every tier 2 planet can view it. Her mouth curved up with a hint of challenge. Back on Blue Star, you cleared 223 rifts and nobody knew. But here, whatever score you put up, the entire universe sees it. I looked at her, said nothing. She stepped closer, tilting her face up. Scared, I thought about it. No. Good. She turned toward her quarters, took a few steps, then looked back. Tomorrow I'll take you to the teleportation array. Today you rest. Save your energy. She pushed through her door, and it closed behind her. I stood there for a few seconds, then headed to my own room. I stripped off the sweat-soaked clothes from the awakening, walked into the bathroom, and let the hot water wash everything off. Eyes closed, I ran through everything she'd told me. Origin Star. Impossibly large. The root of all rifts. Several times harder. Then I opened my panel. Name, Su Lin, main body. Level, 20, status, enslaved, HP, 600.2 quintillion. Base 10,000 times 20 trillion fold equipment, 30 million times 20 trillion fold. Attack, 201,000. Base 1,000 ring 200,000, 2 abilities. 17 skills total, 9 active, 8 passive. Every one of them handpicked, essential, perfectly fitted to my combat system. The second ability alone changed everything. Life Sovereign, 10,000-fold HP amplification, plus every attack carrying 1% of my max HP as bonus damage. With 600.2 quintillion HP, that meant every single hit I landed would deal 6 quintillion in bonus damage on top of everything else. I closed the panel and let the water run over me. One more day? Next morning. Knock, knock, knock. I opened the door. Shuewei stood there in a black combat outfit, hair braided in a single plait down her chest. Much more practical than yesterday. She was holding a tray, a bowl of porridge, a small plate of side dishes, and 2 steamed buns. Breakfast, she shoved the tray into my hands. Eat. Then we go to the teleportation array. I looked down at the porridge. White, steaming, with a few red berries floating in it. What are these? Blood flame fruit. Good for your blood, she rolled her eyes. With your HP, it probably makes zero difference. Just eat. I took the tray inside. She followed and dropped into a chair, legs crossed, watching me eat. I sat down and took a sip. The porridge was thick with a faint sweetness. When I bit into the blood flame berries, the juice burst open in my mouth like warm sugar water. Good? She asked. Yeah, obviously. I personally went to the kitchen to get it. Chin up, proud. Normal people don't get this. I didn't respond. Just kept eating. She watched me for a few seconds, then said out of nowhere, "The way you eat reminds me of my dad." I looked up. No, wait. Not my dad. My dad eats like he's in a war zone. Just inhales everything. She tilted her head, thinking. More like my mom. My mom ate like this. One small bite at a time. Really slow. I didn't say anything. She didn't seem to need me to. Just kept talking, mostly to herself. My mom is dead. 10 years ago. Killed by people from Sirius Star. My chopsticks paused. Sirius Star. Tier 2 planet. Ranked 73. Her voice was flat. Calm. Like she'd said it 1,000 times. 22 ranks above us. 300 years ago, they invaded Blood Flame Star. Killed my mom and my older brother. Took 30 of our resource planets. Seized one of our teleportation arrays. She paused and looked at me. My father hates them. I hate them too. I put down my chopsticks. So you need me to help you fight Sirius Star? Those blood-red eyes were full of hatred and frustration. I looked at her for 3 seconds. Okay. The teleportation array was 3 floors underground beneath the palace. Each level darker and colder than the last. The torches on the walls shifted from bright orange to deep purple. The air smelled ancient, like a basement sealed for centuries. Funny thing, walking through a place like this, I actually felt more at home than in all those golden halls upstairs. Here, Shuewei said, stopping. A massive circular platform stretched out in front of us, at least 100 meters across. Runes carved along the edges, flowing with dark gold light. In the center, a round pit filled with something glowing, like milk, like moonlight. This is the teleportation array. I looked down at the flickering runes. Where is Origin Star? Nobody knows. She shook her head. It doesn't appear on any star map or coordinate system. You can only get there through a teleportation array, and you can only leave the same way. Who built it? Nobody knows that either. It's existed for at least tens of millions of years. Longer than the history of any Tier 2 planet. Some say it's been here since the universe began. Some say a higher dimensional civilization built it. Others say it was built by, she lowered her voice, gods. I looked at her. Gods? The top powerhouses on Tier 3 planets are called the God race. They claim to be descendants of actual gods. But nobody's ever seen a real god. Maybe they exist, maybe they don't. Who knows? She shrugged, her tone lightening up. On Origin Star, there'll be people from every Tier 2 planet. Not just ours. Her expression turned serious. The top 50 ranked planets. Their younger generation all walk around like they own the place. They see people from Blood Flame Star and look at us like we're dogs. They might start trouble, but we have to endure it. Not because you can't beat them. Honestly, among the younger generation, nobody would be your match, including the royal children from the top 10 planets. But we have to wait until you can wipe out all of them. If you beat up their kids now, their elders will come destroy Blood Flame Star. She patted my shoulder. Let's go. The Blood Flame King arrived with several elders. He wore black battle armor with a level 190 badge on his chest. The old men behind him were all above level 150. He looked at me, held his gaze for a few seconds, then nodded. Everyone's here. Activate the array. 3 elders pressed their hands against the runes along the platform edge. Dark gold light surged from the edges toward the center like rippling water. The white glow in the pit started churning, like a pot of boiling milk. Enter, the Blood Flame King said. Shuewei went first. I followed. The moment the light swallowed us, it felt like being grabbed and shoved through a narrow tube at impossible speed. Wind howling in my ears, colors flashing past, red, green, blue, purple, like a kaleidoscope. About 10 seconds. Then stillness. I opened my eyes. I was standing on an enormous plaza, so big I couldn't see where it ended. The ground was white stone. Above me, blue sky, white clouds. Not Blood Flame Star's dark red sky. Real blue. Exactly like Blue Star. The plaza was packed with people. Awakeners from every Tier 2 planet in the universe. Some had wings. Some were covered in scales. Some had blue skin. Some had slit pupils. Some had horns on their heads. Some had tails trailing behind them. They wore all kinds of armor, carried all kinds of weapons, stood in clusters speaking all kinds of languages. This is Origin Star, Shui Wei said beside me. Those groups out there are gathered around their planet's teleportation arrays. This isn't even the main plaza. We still have to walk further. The city entrance is up ahead. She led me through the crowd toward the far end of the plaza. There stood a gate, 1,000 meters tall, 500 meters wide, solid gold. 2 guards flanked it. Not people, puppets. 10 meters tall, covered in silver-white metal, no faces, just 2 glowing eyes each. Standing perfectly still like statues. Go in, Shui Wei said. I followed her through. On the other side, a city. Impossibly huge. Buildings stretched into the clouds. Some shaped like towers, some like mountains, some floating in midair. Streets as wide as plazas, lined on both sides with shops, equipment sellers, material vendors, intelligence brokers. People everywhere. More than the plaza outside. This is Origin City, Shui Wei said. Every sub-100 Awakener from every Tier 2 planet lives here. The city has thousands of teleportation arrays that connect directly to rift entrances. She pointed at a black tower in the distance. That's the ranking board. I followed her finger and looked. Row after row of text, packed tight. Thousands of rift rankings displayed for everyone to see. Every Tier 2 planet in the universe could read them. I stopped walking and stared up at the tower. Shui Wei stopped too. I found a ranking I recognized. Rift, Bloodbone Abyss. Difficulty rank 10, level 10. Rift, first place. Holy Light Star, Shang Tianjiao. Clear time, 41 hours 17 minutes. Second place. Dark Abyss Star. And Wuhan, clear time, 43 hours 52 minutes. Third place. Stellar Star, Xingyun. Clear time, 45 hours 08 minutes. Fourth place. Chaos Star, Hundunzi. Clear time, 46 hours 33 minutes. Fifth place. Primordial Star, Tai Yi. Clear time, 47 hours 59 minutes. All 5 were from top 10 ranked Tier 2 planets. Holy Light Star, Dark Abyss Star, Stellar Star, Chaos Star, Primordial Star. Shui Wei had made a point of telling me those names on the way here. Her main message was clear. If I ran into any of them, keep my head down. No conflicts. Because any single one of those planets could grind Blood Flame Star to dust. Their best geniuses took over 40 hours to clear the Bloodbone Abyss. I cleared it in 47 minutes. We got back to Origin City after I cleared the Bloodbone Abyss. Shui Wei saw my time, 47 minutes. She couldn't believe it. The best teams from top-ranked planets take over 40 hours, and I did it in 47 minutes. She told me to keep quiet about it. Walking through the city, I noticed people staring at Shui Wei's Blood Flame Star badge. I could hear them whispering, calling her planet trash, saying they got nearly wiped out 10 years ago, pitying her. Shui Wei didn't stop. She kept walking with her back straight. When she asked if I heard them, I told her I was used to that kind of thing. She said she was too, ever since that day 10 years ago. She led me to the Blood Flame Star quarters on the east side of the city. The buildings there were short and old, nothing like the grand ones in the center where the top 50 planets stayed. A few young warriors in blood flame armor greeted her as Princess along the way. Right when we reached the door, a voice called out behind us. It was Wolf Yunxiao, the 3rd prince of Sirius Star, ranked 73rd. He was level 90 with double SSS abilities. He had sharp, snake-like eyes and a nasty smile. He started mocking Shui Wei, calling her planet garbage, saying she was pretty but worthless because of where she came from. Then he brought up the war from 10 years ago, how her father nearly died, how her mother and brother did die. Shui Wei was shaking with rage, biting her lip until it bled, but she didn't fight back. She couldn't. Sirius Star was way too strong for Blood Flame Star to challenge. He poked my chest and told me I had no future sticking with a trash planet. He even said he'd marry Shui Wei someday and make Blood Flame Star a vassal of Sirius. After he left, Shui Wei stood there trembling. Her eyes were red, but she forced the tears back. Then she took a breath and told me to go inside. I followed her in. Shui Wei brought me to my room. Small, just a bed, a desk, a chair, and a window facing the alley. She stayed at the door and asked if I wanted to know why she stopped me from fighting Wolf Yunxiao. I told her I already knew. If I hit him, his father would come, and Blood Flame Star would be destroyed. She looked surprised that I figured it out. Then she started talking about what happened 10 years ago. Her mother died, Her brother died. Her father barely survived. Their planet's ranking dropped from 95th to somewhere past 1000th. That meant anyone could bully them, and their people couldn't hold their heads up on Origin Star. She'd been swallowing her anger for 10 years. She told me she needed me to get strong enough to help her fight back. But first, I had to stay alive. Then she brought up something I hadn't thought about. On Blue Star, nobody tracked my results. But here, every rift I clear gets posted on a public leaderboard. My name, my planet, my time. I cleared Bloodbone Abyss in 47 minutes. The current first place took over 41 hours. That's 50 times slower than me. She explained what would happen if people saw that. A level 20 nobody from a fallen planet clearing a top 10 rift 50 times faster than the best? The top planets would come hunting. They wouldn't try to recruit me. They'd kill me, because no top planet would allow another planet to have someone like me. Any planet that kept me would become a target. But she and her father had a plan. She handed me a crystal tablet with information about a rift called the Fraud Maze, a level 20 rift ranked 25th in difficulty. The first-time reward was an item called the Mask of Deception. It lets you change the name and planet shown on leaderboards. It can be used unlimited times, and the better your score, the longer the disguise lasts. I understood right away. I'd use it to hide my identity when clearing rifts. She asked me which planet I'd disguise myself as, and I guessed her answer, Sirius Star. Her eyes lit up. That was her real plan. If the leaderboard kept showing some unknown Sirius Star genius smashing records, the top 10 planets would notice. They'd investigate. Sirius Star wouldn't be able to produce this person because he doesn't exist. The top planets would think Sirius was hiding a dangerous talent. They'd demand Sirius hand him over. When Sirius couldn't, the top planets would attack them. She told me she'd been dreaming of destroying Sirius Star since the day her mother died. For 10 years, every single day. But she couldn't beat them. Not her, not her father, not their whole planet combined. So she needed me. I was quiet for a long time. Then I said yes. Shuiwei took a deep breath and laid out the full plan. First, I had to clear the fraud maze as fast as possible. The faster I clear it, the longer the Mask of Deception works. Right now, the top score gives about 1 week of disguise time. But 1 week wasn't nearly enough for me. I needed to grow strong enough to fight level 200 warriors within that window. So I had to crush the record by a huge margin to get a longer-lasting mask. But that alone wasn't enough. She told me even with the leaderboard disguise, I could still be found. My abilities were so far beyond normal that every planet would go all-out hunting for me. They wouldn't just pressure Sirius Star, they'd also search Origin Star itself, turning everyone into spies. Their power and methods were beyond anything I could imagine. That gave me chills. I didn't expect to be this popular. So after the fraud maze, I had to immediately rush to a second rift called the Mirror of 1,000 Faces, not a second to waste. This level 20 rift, ranked 23rd in difficulty, gives a reward called the 1,000 Illusion Mask. It changes your appearance, body shape, energy signature, even your ability wavelength. The faster you clear it, the higher the level of people it can fool. The current record holder cleared it in about 5.5 hours, and his mask could fool up to level 150. That wasn't good enough for me. I needed to fool level 200 warriors or I'd be found and killed. She said once I clear the fraud maze and Sirius Star appears at the top of the leaderboard with an insane score, the news would spread across every planet within 10 minutes. I'd have just those 10 minutes to get from the fraud maze to the Mirror of 1,000 Faces and start clearing it. Every second mattered. I told her 10 minutes was enough. Then she gave me a smooth black stone, warm to the touch, a blood flame stone, a communication device unique to Blood Flame Star. She told me to use it instead of a phone, since phones could be monitored. She held my hand and showed me how it worked. Just think of the person you want to reach and push a little energy into it. I tried it, and her stone lit up. It worked. Then she said something that stuck with me. She told me not to trust anyone, not even her. She said she could be controlled, impersonated, or forced to send me fake messages. I had to use my own judgment. She told me to go to the teleportation plaza alone. She was too recognizable as a princess. If she came along, people would notice me. She gave me directions. Go east, find the level 20 rift zone. Don't talk to anyone. Don't make eye contact. Just be invisible. I walked out alone. The streets were packed with awakeners from all kinds of planets. People near the top 50 planets' quarters scanned every stranger that walked by, like habit. That was just how Origin Star worked. The weak had to walk with their heads down. After about an hour, I reached the teleportation plaza. It wasn't a plaza. It was an ocean, tens of millions of people stretching to the horizon. Thousands of teleportation gates stood in neat rows, each one dozens of meters wide and hundreds of meters tall, made of dark gold metal covered in glowing runes. Hundreds of thousands of people crowded in front of each gate, surging forward in waves, disappearing in flashes of light. Nobody bumped into me. Nobody even looked at me. Everyone here was busy getting stronger, busy staying alive. Nobody cared about a level 20 nobody. I followed the signs. Level 10 rifts, gates 1 through 200. Level 20 rifts, gates 201 through 400. Level 30, level 40, on and on. I kept walking toward the level 20 zone. I reached the level 20 rift zone. The teleportation gates here were even bigger, 100 meters wide, 300 meters tall, with glowing runes covering every surface. Giant crystal boards floated above each gate, showing the rift rankings and record holders. I found the two I was looking for. The Fraud Maze, ranked 25th, record held by someone from Star Planet at 5 hours 38 minutes. The Mirror of 1,000 Faces, ranked 23rd, record at 7 hours 12 minutes. I stared at them for 3 seconds, then headed to gate 225, the Fraud Maze. Hundreds of thousands of people crowded around the gate. Some were waiting to go in, others stumbling out covered in blood, but with bright eyes. I didn't wait. I walked straight through. Inside, everything was thick gray fog. I could barely see my own hand. A mechanical voice explained the rules. 99 forks in the road, each with 2 choices, left or right. Pick right, move forward. Pick wrong, back to the start. I had 72 hours. If I ran out of time, a level 100 guardian would show up. Beat it, and I could leave with no reward. Or it would kill me. The voice said there was no map, no pattern, no logic. Pure luck. But then I remembered something. My passive ability, Fate's Favor. Any random event automatically shifts toward the best outcome for me. I decided to bet on it. I just started walking. No thinking, no hesitating. Left, right, left, right. I picked randomly and kept moving. Every time, the fog cleared a little, meaning I'd chosen correctly. I went faster and faster, almost running by the end. Fork after fork, 64, 75, 86, 97, 98, 99. Every single one correct. At the last fork, the fog exploded open and revealed a golden door with the words, Fraud Maze, Exit. I checked my time. 4 minutes and 52 seconds. 99 forks, 99 correct choices. Fate's favor was incredible. Behind the door was a stone room with a pedestal. On it lay a silver-white mask, thin as a cicada's wing, glowing faintly. I picked it up and golden text appeared before my eyes. I'd broken the record. The old one was 5 hours 38 minutes. Mine was 4 minutes 52 seconds. My score was rated SSS with a note saying it couldn't even be described in words. And the deception duration, permanent. I took a deep breath. Permanent. I didn't even need to worry about a time limit. The mask melted into my skin like cool water, then disappeared. I immediately changed my leaderboard name to Wolf Shadow, just made it up on the spot, and set my planet to Sirius Star. I walked out through the gate back into the plaza. Nobody noticed me. Tens of millions of people, all busy with their own business. I kept my head down and started walking toward the Mirror of 1,000 Faces. About 30 seconds later, I heard a scream behind me. Holy, look at the leaderboard. I didn't turn around. I kept walking, but the crowd was already going wild. What happened? The Fraud Maze leaderboard changed. First place isn't Star Planet's guy anymore. Who is it? I walked out of the Fraud Maze and back into the plaza. Nobody noticed me. Just another level 20 kid in a sea of millions. I sent Shuewei a message through the blood flame stone, cleared the maze, heading to the Mirror of 1,000 Faces. Then the screaming started behind me. The giant crystal board above gate 225 now showed a new first place for the Fraud Maze. First place, Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow, for minutes 52 seconds. The old record was 5 hours 38 minutes. The plaza went dead silent for 3 seconds. Then it exploded. People were losing their minds. They couldn't believe it. For minutes, not 4 hours. Someone pointed out the only explanation. Whoever did it never stopped to think. Picked correctly all 99 times without a single mistake. Others screamed about cheating, but someone shut that down fast. This was Origin Star. The rules here couldn't be cheated. Within seconds, thousands of people were taking photos of the leaderboard, calling their home planets. The news spread like a virus. 10 seconds to the East District. 30 seconds to the west. 3 minutes, the entire origin star knew. 5 minutes, every second-tier planet had heard. I didn't look back. I kept my head down and walked toward the mirror of 1,000 faces. I found out later what happened elsewhere. Shuewei was in her room staring at my message, heart pounding. She'd expected maybe an hour, 5 times faster than the record. Instead, I was nearly 70 times faster. She laughed until she cried, not from joy but from fear at how insanely strong the result was. She knew every eye in the universe would be hunting for Wolf Shadow now. At the Sirius Star quarters across the city, Wolf Yunxiao was lounging in a chair drinking wine, tormenting a young blood flame star slave girl who looked a little like Shuewei. Then a scout burst in with the news. When Wolf Yunxiao saw his own planet's name on the leaderboard next to a time that shouldn't be humanly possible, his face went white. He checked their roster. No one named Wolf Shadow existed in Sirius Star. He immediately suspected someone was framing them. He told everyone to keep quiet and rushed off to find his father. Meanwhile, I just kept walking. Every second counted. I didn't see any of this myself. I was already pushing through the crowd toward the mirror of 1,000 faces. But I found out later what was happening across Origin Star while I walked. On the Sirius Star home planet, the Wolf King was in his throne room bullying some vassal planet's ambassador when a guard burst in with the news. The Wolf King looked at the leaderboard and froze. He understood immediately what it meant. A 4-minute clear time wasn't just talent. It was a monster, the kind that could help a planet rise from 2nd tier to 3rd tier. And this monster was labeled as one of his people. But he knew Sirius Star had no one named Wolf Shadow. His first thought was that someone was framing them. But who could fake a result on Origin Star's leaderboard? The rules there were absolute. Even level 200 warriors couldn't change a single word on it. So this, Wolf Shadow, had to be real. Someone really did clear it in under 5 minutes. Someone was deliberately pinning it on Sirius Star. Then the Wolf King remembered something. 10 years ago, he personally killed Blood Flame Star's queen and prince. He remembered a 10-year-old girl standing in the ruins, covered in blood, staring at him with eyes he never forgot. Shuewei. He shivered. Could it be her? No. How could a planet ranked past 1,000 produce a talent like this? But if not her, then who? He ordered his people to dig up everything on Wolf Shadow and to put spies on Blood Flame Star. Every tiny movement watched. Meanwhile, at the star planet, quarters in the city's center district, the previous record holder, Starfall, was kneeling before his mother, the Star Mother, ruler of Star Planet, level 199. She was cold as ice. Starfall had used a treasure called the Celestial Eye to set his record, a rule-level item that lets you see brief glimpses of the future. That's how he'd picked correctly at each fork. It took him over 5 hours because the eye needed time to activate and interpret each vision. But Wolf Shadow did it in under 5 minutes. The Star Mother calculated it out. Less than 3 seconds per fork. No hesitation, no pausing, no thinking at all. She said either this person had something stronger than the Celestial Eye, or their luck was impossibly, unnaturally good. She gave her orders. Find Wolf Shadow. Bring him in alive. And if someone else found him first, kill him. All across Origin Star, the hunt was beginning. And I was just walking through the crowd with my head down, trying to reach the next rift before anyone figured out who I really was. I was already gone, pushing through the crowd toward my next target. But I learned later just how much chaos those 3 words, Wolf Shadow, for minutes 52 seconds, caused across every major planet. At the Holy Light Star quarters, their number 1 genius, Saint Tianjiao, was staring at the leaderboard. He'd cleared the fraud maze in 6 hours and thought he was incredible. Now he couldn't even match a fraction of Wolf Shadow's time. His father, the Holy Light Emperor at level 199, told him this person was 10,000 times stronger than him. He said either Wolf Shadow could see correct answers directly, or his luck had gone beyond the rules themselves. The Emperor called this person the variable their planet had been waiting tens of thousands of years for. His orders: find him at any cost. If someone else finds him first, kill him. At the Tai Chu Star quarters, their genius Tai sat meditating in a dark room. He didn't even need a screen to know what happened. He calculated it out cold. The odds of guessing correctly 99 times in a row were 1 in 2 to the power of 99. That number is smaller than the total atoms in the universe. He concluded it had to be luck, and luck itself was a talent beyond understanding. His master gave the same order: find him or kill him. At the Dark Abyss Star quarters underground, their guy had taken over 43 hours to clear the same maze. A pale hand reached out of black fog and choked him, calling him trash. Same orders, find Wolf Shadow, bring him back alive. The only different reaction came from Chaos Star. Their genius, Chaos Sun, heard the news, smoked a cigarette, and said, "Interesting." Then he got up to leave. When his master asked where he was going, he said he wanted to find this person, not to fight or steal, but to make friends. Someone this strong was too valuable to make into an enemy. Back at the plaza, the crowd was still going crazy. People were searching Sirius Star's roster and finding nothing. No one named Wolf Shadow existed. Every planet's leader was sending out messages. The hunt was on, and I was just walking quietly through all of it, invisible, heading to my next rift. Every major planet issued orders at almost the same time. Holy Light Star, Star Planet, Taichu Star, Dark Abyss Star, Chaos Star, all of them commanded their people to find Wolf Shadow. Rewards, promotions, whatever it took. It wasn't just the top 10 either. Practically every planet sent out the same kind of message. The crowd around me went from excited to tense. This wasn't people watching a show anymore. Everyone's communication stones lit up at once. Suddenly, every single person in the plaza had a mission: find Wolf Shadow. I found out later what happened at Sirius Star. Representatives from every top planet showed up at their headquarters. At least 5 level 150 warriors from each. They surrounded the place. The Wolf King stood at the door, face pale, his people gripping their weapons but not daring to move. Any one of these groups could crush Sirius Star alone. They demanded he hand over Wolf Shadow. He told them the truth. Sirius Star had no such person. He said it was a setup. They laughed in his face. Origin Star's system hadn't made an error in tens of millions of years, and he expected them to believe someone faked it? Deep down, some of them probably knew it could be fake, but they'd rather destroy an insignificant planet than risk missing even the smallest chance of finding this person. The Holy Light Star Elder gave him one day: hand over Wolf Shadow, alive or dead. If he couldn't, Sirius Star would be removed from the second-tier planet rankings entirely. After they left, the Wolf King collapsed to his knees in his own hallway, shaking, grinding his teeth, begging his people to find out who was doing this to them. Meanwhile, I was walking through the plaza. People all around me were discussing Wolf Shadow, scanning every face nearby, looking for anyone suspicious. Someone pointed at a guy in black walking with his head down. Turned out he was just from Dark Abyss Star. I kept my head low, my pace steady. I looked like the most ordinary level 20 nobody. No badge, no features worth remembering. Half the people in the plaza were level 20. Who would notice one more? But I could feel the stares. Hundreds of eyes sweeping across everyone like searchlights. A Holy Light Star warrior glanced at me for about half a second. I met his eyes briefly, then looked away and kept walking. His gaze lingered on me for one more second, then moved on. I kept going. About 300 meters ahead, I saw a group of people blocking the path, stopping and questioning everyone trying to pass through. Up ahead, they'd set up a checkpoint. About a dozen warriors from Holy Light Star, Star Planet, and Taichu Star, all level 150 or above, were stopping and questioning everyone passing through. I got in line. 7 or 8 people ahead of me. I watched them go one by one. A Holy Light Star guy, cleared. A Star Planet person, cleared. A Dark Abyss Star kid got a couple extra questions, but passed through too. Then it was my turn. A Holy Light Star Elder stood in front of me. Level 150, eyes sharp like a hawk. Which planet? Celestial Abyss Star, I said calmly. It was a planet ranked around 200th. Shuewei had taught me about it beforehand. Unremarkable, not strong or weak, and its people looked similar to me. Most importantly, it was far from Bloodflame Star. Nobody would connect the two. He looked me up and down, asked what I was doing here. I told him I was clearing rifts. He asked which one. I said the mirror of 1,000 faces. He stared at me for 3 seconds, those eyes trying to see right through me. I didn't flinch, breathing steady, eyes forward. He waved me through. I kept walking at the same pace until I reached the mirror of 1,000 faces teleportation gate. I let out a long breath and stepped through. Inside, I was standing in a hall of mirrors. Mirrors on the floor, the ceiling, every wall. 1,000 reflections of me stared back from every direction. The mechanical voice explained the rules. 1,000 mirror copies of me were hiding in 1,000 mirrors. Only one was real. Find it and kill it to clear the rift. Pick wrong, and the fake one attacks you. Every time you kill a fake, all the remaining copies double in strength. Kill one wrong, the rest double. Kill 2 wrong, they double again. After 10 mistakes, they'd be over 1,000 times stronger. After 20, 1,000,000 times. Even I couldn't fight 2 to the 999th power. But then I remembered, this was basically made for me. Fate's favor. Any random event shifts in my favor. So I just pointed at a random mirror. The third one on the left. No reason. No clue. No thinking. Just picked one. The figure inside the mirror stepped out. It looked exactly like me. Same height, same clothes, same face. I punched it. One hit. The damage number was absurd. The mirror copy shattered like glass, pieces scattering across the floor. The voice announced it. I'd found the real one. First try out of 1,000. Time, 2 minutes 3 seconds. Old record, 7 hours 12 minutes. My score, SSS. The system said it couldn't even describe my rating in words. The reward was the 1,000 illusion mask. It could change my face, body shape, level, energy signature, and ability wavelength. With my score, it could fool anyone level 200 and below. I used the Mask of Deception first to set the leaderboard info to Wolf Shadow from Sirius Star again. Then I put on the 1,000 illusion mask. It melted into my skin like cool water and disappeared. I changed my face instantly, into a completely different person. I gave myself a vertical third eye, which was a feature unique to Holy Light Star's people. Shuewei had told me about this ahead of time. With this face, if anyone stopped me again, they'd be less likely to question someone who looked like they belonged to the #1 ranked planet. I stepped out of the mirror of 1,000 faces and back into the plaza. Within 10 steps, the crystal board behind me updated again. First place, mirror of 1,000 faces, Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow, 2 minutes 3 seconds. Old record, 7 hours 12 minutes. The plaza exploded even harder than before. People were screaming. 2 rifts in a row, both smashed by the same person with impossible times. Everyone started scanning every face around them. Anyone who looked level 20 was getting grabbed, stopped, questioned. Some people were surrounded and couldn't move. I didn't look back. My disguise was doing its job. The vertical third eye on my forehead made me look like a Holy Light Star member. Nobody messes with the #1 planet's people. About 2 kilometers ahead, there was another checkpoint. This one was much bigger, over 100 warriors, all level 100 and up, from every top 10 planet. They'd completely blocked the street. I got in line. When it was my turn, the Holy Light Star elder saw my third eye and asked if I was from Holy Light Star. I said yes, gave a fake name, Shengguang Lin. He looked me over, checked my level 20 badge. Then he let me through. But then he called me back. My heart tightened. Your third eye. It's a bit smaller than most Holy Light Star people's. I kept my face completely calm. Born that way, I said. He stared at me for a few seconds, then waved me on. I walked away at the same steady pace. It wasn't until I was 50 meters away that I realized my back was soaked with sweat. If he'd caught me, I'd be dead. I pulled out the blood flame stone and contacted Shuewei. She could barely believe the mirror of 1,000 faces time either. She told me to hurry to the third rift, the Void Corridor, ranked 19th in difficulty. She said I had to clear it fast and explained why the reward mattered. If my score was high enough, I'd get a long-range teleportation skill that could send me straight back to the Blood Flame Star quarters. With the whole plaza crawling with searchers, that might be my only way out. If I couldn't get it, I'd have to rely on acting skills to escape. She told me to be careful. Then she cut off. I reached gate 219. The Void Corridor, current record held by St. Tianjiao from Holy Light Star at 9 hours 47 minutes. Fewer people were lined up here. Not many dared to attempt the top 20 rift. A few people glanced at me, saw my Holy Light Star face, and looked away immediately. No questions. I stepped through. Inside was pure emptiness. No ground, no sky, just darkness in every direction with distant specks of light like far-off stars. The mechanical voice explained, 12,000 void beasts were hiding in this space. Kill them all to clear the rift. They wouldn't attack. They'd run, hide, turn invisible. Some hid in space cracks, some in dimensional gaps, some even folded themselves into 2-dimensional shapes and stuck to your body where you'd never notice them. I had 72 hours. After that, they'd go berserk and double in number. Finding 12,000 creatures one by one in infinite darkness? That would take forever, but I didn't need to find them. I activated my taunt skill, Ice Corpse Rage Taunt. The taunt worked perfectly. Every void beast in the entire space reacted at once. Countless blood-red eyes lit up in every direction, from space cracks, dimensional gaps, even flat 2-dimensional hiding spots. They all unfolded and came rushing at me like a tidal wave. thousands of lizard-like creatures, each 3 meters long with see-through scales and mouths full of jagged teeth. They swarmed me, biting my arms, legs, neck, everywhere. Each bite did 10 million damage, but my reflectability bounced it right back, blowing their mouths apart. And 10 million damage to me? My health was over 6,000 quintillion, and I regenerated 100% every second. Their attacks weren't even a rounding error. I stood still for about a minute, letting them all pile onto me. Once I was sure every single one was within 50 meters, I activated Blood Sacrifice, spent 10% of my health to deal 200% damage to everything within range. Every void beast died instantly. All 12,000. One move. Time: 2 minutes 47 seconds. Old record: 9 hours 47 minutes. Score: SSS again. The reward was exactly what I needed: Void Shuttle, an active teleportation skill. Instant transport to any location within 1,000 kilometers. Usable in combat. 1 hour cooldown. That meant I could teleport straight back to my room at the Blood Flame Star quarters whenever I wanted. I had my escape route. I stepped out of the gate still wearing my Holy Light Star disguise. Nobody bothered me. But things had changed. The entire plaza, thousands of kilometers wide, had been sealed off. Every top 50 planet had sent at least 100 warriors, all level 100 and above, blocking every exit. Tens of millions of Awakeners were trapped inside. Nobody could leave. Nobody was allowed to enter any more rifts either. A Holy Light Star Elder announced it from a high point. Until Wolf Shadow was found, no one leaves. Someone shouted back asking what gave them the right. The Elder said, because we're ranked first, and asked if anyone wanted to challenge that. Nobody did. Then the crystal board lit up behind me with the third update. Void Corridor, first place, Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow, 2 minutes 47 seconds. The plaza lost its mind completely. 3 rifts. 3 impossible records. All the same name. People started grabbing each other, questioning everyone. Some poor guys got surrounded by mobs. But nobody touched me. My Holy Light Star face was the perfect shield. Their own people glanced at me, saw one of their own, and moved on to search someone else. I stood in the crowd calmly. I had Void Shuttle ready. I could leave anytime I wanted. I was planning to hit another rift since I could teleport away if things got bad. Then the Blood Flame Stone heated up. It was Shuewei. She asked about my teleportation range. When I told her 1,000 kilometers, she went quiet. Then she told me the previous record holder only got 10 kilometers. She took a few deep breaths and said she had a plan, one she hadn't expected to use, but my teleportation range made it low risk for me. First, she wanted me to go west to Gate 218, a rift called Afterlife Fragments, ranked 18th. Clearing it would give me the ability to read the memories of recently dead Awakeners. The better the score, the longer the memory reach, maybe even a dead person's entire lifetime. She said this skill combined with my 1,000 illusion mask would help me disguise myself better in the future. But that wasn't the real plan. The real plan was to put on a show. She needed me to transform into a Sirius Star person. Silver white hair, narrow upturned eyes, pale skin, tall build, and most importantly, the silver wolf totem on my forehead. Then I was supposed to stand near the gate looking nervous. When patrol groups came by and questioned me, I should act scared, shifty eyes, stuttering, shaking hands. Let them suspect me. When they pressed harder, I'd suddenly drop the act, get angry, and shout loud enough for the whole plaza to hear. Yes, I'm Wolf Shadow. Then I'd threaten them. Tell them I'd remember what these top 10 planets were doing to Sirius Star, and that once I was strong enough, I'd destroy them all. After that, I'd walk into the rift right in front of them. When I came out with another record-breaking time, they'd be completely convinced Wolf Shadow was real and from Sirius Star. Then I'd let them see me for a moment and teleport straight back to the Blood Flame Star quarters, vanishing before their eyes. Sirius Star would never be able to clear their name after that. Her breathing was heavy through the stone. 10 years of hatred pouring out. I told her I'd do it. We were on the same ship now. I headed west. The plaza was still chaos. Tens of millions of people crammed together. The top planet's warriors shoving people around, slapping anyone who resisted. Nobody looked at me twice with my Holy Light Star face. I reached Gate 218 and stopped near a stone pillar. Then I started changing. My vertical eye disappeared. My hair turned silver white and grew long. My eyes narrowed and tilted upward. My skin went pale. I grew a couple centimeters taller. Finally, a silver wolf totem appeared on my forehead, teeth bared, fierce and lifelike. A perfect Sirius Star warrior. I leaned against the pillar with my hands in my pockets, head down, looking like I was waiting for someone. About 3 minutes later, a patrol group came through, 7 or 8 warriors, all level 100 and above, from Holy Light Star, Star Planet, Taichu Star, and others. The leader was a level 120 Holy Light Star guy with a furious expression. He walked past me, then stopped, turned back, stared at me. You? Which planet? I started my act. When the patrol leader asked which planet I was from, I let my eyes dart away. I pulled my hands out of my pockets, clenched and unclenched them. I swallowed hard. Aye, my voice shook perfectly. His eyes narrowed. The others crowded around. One of them spotted the silver wolf totem on my forehead and shouted that I was from Sirius Star. I backed up a step and stammered that I wasn't. Then what's that on your forehead? I covered it with my hand, but too late. Their eyes lit up with excitement. Found you. Are you Wolf Shadow? I pressed my back against the stone pillar, trembling, shaking my head. They laughed at how nervous I looked. Meanwhile, the crowd swelled. Thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of people flooding in from every direction to see what was happening. The Holy Light Star leader stood in front of me, arms crossed, looking down. Last time I'm asking, are you Wolf Shadow? I lifted my head. I let the fear drain out of my eyes and replaced it with something cold. Yes, one word. Quiet but steady. The whole plaza went silent. I straightened up. No more shaking, no more cowering. I stood tall, silver hair blowing in the wind, the wolf totem gleaming on my forehead. I'm Wolf Shadow. The fraud maze, the mirror of 1,000 faces, the void corridor. I cleared all 3, dead silence. Tens of millions of people, not a single sound. Then I gave them the speech Shuewei wanted. I pointed at the top 10 planets' warriors and asked why they got to stand above everyone else. Why couldn't Sirius Star rise up? We were a second-tier planet too. Our blood was red just like theirs. I looked at each group one by one. Holy Light Star, Star Planet, Taichu Star, Dark Abyss Star, Chaos Star. Everything you've done to Sirius Star, I've remembered it all. I paused. Once I grow strong enough, the top 10 planets are first on my list. Not a single one of you will be spared. Then I turned and walked toward gate 218. Nobody moved. They were all frozen. At the gate, I looked back one last time. Remember my name. Wolf Shadow. Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow. I stepped through the light. Behind me, it took 3 full seconds before anyone reacted. Then chaos. The Holy Light Star leader screamed to chase me, but someone reminded him it was a level 20 rift. His level 120 couldn't enter. Others scrambled for their communication stones, contacting their planet leaders. Star Planet's people were shaking. Taichu Star stayed calm and sent a single short message. Dark Abyss Star vanished into the shadows. Chaos Star's guy just grinned and told his boss that the kid was pretty wild. Said he'd kill all 10 top planets, leave no one standing. The news spread everywhere in minutes. 3 rifts, 3 shattered records, and now a face, a name, and a declaration of war against the 10 most powerful planets. All from a supposed Sirius Star warrior. When the report reached the Wolf King back on Sirius Star, he was already falling apart from the morning's ultimatum. Then his scout burst in to tell him Wolf Shadow had been found, that he'd admitted everything publicly, claimed to be from Sirius Star, and threatened to destroy the top 10 planets. Things were about to get much worse for Sirius Star, and none of it had anything to do with them. Back on Sirius Star, the Wolf King collapsed to his knees when he heard the news. His son Wolf Yunshao stood next to him, white as a sheet. The Wolf King said it was over. It didn't matter if Wolf Shadow was real or fake. He'd admitted it in front of hundreds of thousands of people, claimed to be from Sirius Star, and threatened to kill the top 10 planets. Those planets wouldn't care about the truth. They'd wipe out Sirius Star just to be safe. Better to kill 1,000 by mistake than let one threat slip by. The Wolf King screamed at the sky, demanding to know who was destroying them. Meanwhile, outside Gate 218 on Origin Star, every major planet had stationed their warriors, at least 50 level 100 fighters from each, surrounding the exit completely. Holy Light Star wanted me alive. Star Planet wanted me alive. Taichu Star positioned themselves right at the exit for the best angle. Dark Abyss Star hid in the shadows. Only Chaos Star was different. Their leader had sent a message saying, "Don't grab him. Let him go." Their guy just stood in the back laughing. They were all waiting for me to come out. Inside the rift, I stood in a gray empty space filled with 12,800 floating memory fragments, each one containing an entire person's lifetime of memories. The rules were simple. Absorb at least 10 fragments without losing yourself, and you pass. Absorb all 12,800, and you get the ultimate reward, the Eyes of Rebirth, which lets you see a person's complete past. The danger was real. Other people's memories flood into your mind and can make you forget who you are. 10 could drive you crazy. 100 could turn you into a vegetable. 12,800 should be impossible. But I had a trick nobody else did. My clone ability, Twin Body. My clone was back on Blue Star in a rented room. My soul could move freely between my main body and my clone. So I pulled my soul out of my main body, leaving it as an empty shell, eyes open but nobody home. Then from my clone on Blue Star, I remotely controlled my main body like a puppet. I walked the empty shell over to the first memory fragment and touched it. The memories exploded into my main body's brain, but there was no consciousness there to affect. I checked from my clone's side. Nothing. No interference, no confusion, no risk of losing myself. I smiled. Then I moved the puppet to the second fragment. I kept going. Third fragment, 10th, 50th, 100th, 500th. My soul stayed in my clone on Blue Star while I puppet my main body from fragment to fragment. The memories poured into the empty shell, births, battles, deaths, entire lifetimes, but with no consciousness inside, nothing stuck. Like wind blowing through an empty room. 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, all 12,800. When the last one was absorbed, I pulled my soul back into my main body. My eyes came alive again. I was drenched in sweat and my legs were numb from standing so long, but my mind was perfectly clear. None of those memories had touched me. The system announced my results. Original record, 102 fragments. My record, 12,800. The reward was the Eyes of Rebirth, the ability to read every single memory from an awakener's entire life, from birth to death, as long as they died within the last hour. Not 1 year of memories, an entire lifetime. Combined with my 1,000 illusion mask, I could become anyone perfectly. I walked out of the gate. The scene outside was terrifying. Thousands of warriors from every top planet had surrounded the exit in 3 layers. Holy Light Star on the left, Star Planet on the right, Taichu Star directly ahead, Dark Abyss Star hiding in shadows, Chaos Star blocking the rear. All level 100 and above. Millions of spectators behind them. The Holy Light Star Elder stepped forward and told me I couldn't escape. He said their Star Lord wanted to see me. I smiled. I have a choice, actually. I activated Void Shuttle. Silver-white light exploded from my body like a small sun. Everyone instinctively shut their eyes. When they opened them, I was gone. Just a scorched crater where I'd been standing. The plaza erupted. People screaming, searching, arguing. The Holy Light Star Elder was shaking, ordering a search within 100 miles. Star Planet's leader split her people into 10 groups to chase in every direction. They assumed my teleportation couldn't be that far. The previous record holder only got 10 kilometers. But I'd gone 1,000. I appeared in my room at the Blood Flame Star quarters. Second floor, left side, third door. Chair still there, curtains drawn. My heart was pounding. My hands were shaking, just adrenaline wearing off. But I was safe. The door slammed open. Shuewei burst in wearing a wrinkled white nightgown, hair a mess, feet in slippers. Her eyes were red and full of tears. She stopped in front of me and stared. "You did it," she said, voice trembling. "You actually did it." Then she threw herself at me and hugged me as tight as she could, face buried in my chest, her whole body shaking. She held on for a long time. When I looked down, my shirt was soaked. She was crying silently, tears just streaming out. "I waited 10 years, she said, muffled against my chest. She looked up at me. Her face was a mess, tear-streaked, eyes swollen, nose red. But she was smiling. A real smile. "You did it. You really did it." I looked at her and nodded. "Yeah." Shuewei let go of me and turned around to wipe her tears. She told me not to read too much into the hug. She was just happy. Then she asked if I was hungry and when to get me food. She came back with a big bowl of noodles and white broth with meat and scallions. It was good. She sat across from me, watching me eat with a small smile, and proudly said she made it herself. Then she admitted the kitchen made it, and she just carried it over. I almost smiled. I found out later what was happening while I ate. On Origin Star, tens of millions of people were still searching for me. Level 100 warriors spread out across hundreds of kilometers, turning over every inch of ground. They found nothing. The Holy Light Emperor figured out that I must have gotten a much longer teleportation range than the normal 10 kilometers from the Void Corridor. He ordered all his people into a full search and told them to contact the other 9 top planets. It was time to go to Sirius Star again. This time it was much worse for the Wolf King. Over 1,000 warriors showed up at his palace. At least 200 level 150 fighters from each of the top 10 planets. They surrounded the entire building. The Holy Light Star Grand Elder, Sheng Xian, level 193, asked one word. Where is he? The Wolf King swore on every past ruler of Sirius Star that Wolf Shadow didn't exist. He begged them to believe it was a setup. Nobody cared. They forced him to his knees with the pressure of a level 193 warrior. It cracked the stone floor under him. His fingernails broke and bled as he clawed at the ground, but he couldn't move. Then they searched his palace. 1,000 warriors tore through every room. Doors kicked in, walls smashed open. Sirius Star guards who tried to stop them got slapped away. The royal consorts screamed and were dragged back by their hair. They searched the basement, every hidden room, every corner. The Wolf King knelt in his own throne room listening to the sounds of his home being destroyed, crashing doors, screaming, crying. Tears dripped onto the cracked stone beneath him. He was the ruler of Sirius Star, level 191, master of hundreds of resource planets. And now he knelt in his own palace like a dog. They searched for 3 full hours, and they found nothing, because there was nothing to find. I learned all of this later, but here's what happened to Sirius Star after I escaped. They searched the entire Wolf King's palace. Every stone tile pried up, every wall knocked open, even the toilets checked. Nothing. No Wolf Shadow anywhere. The 5 Grand Elders from the top planets stood in the throne room, furious. Holy Light Stars Sheng Xian, level 193. Star Planets Xing Yao, level 192. Tai Chu Stars Tai Su, level 192. Dark Abyss Star and Chaos Stars leaders too. All empty-handed. They demanded the Wolf King hand over Wolf Shadow. He kept begging, crying, swearing he didn't have this person. He tried to fight back once, releasing his level 191 pressure. It lasted about 1 second before 5 stronger forces slammed down on him from 5 directions, all above his level. His knees cracked the stone floor again. His face was pushed almost to the ground. He pleaded that Sirius Star was a second-tier planet with rule protection. Xing Yao laughed and said the top 10 planets were the rules. Then they sealed the entire planet. All 5 elders raised their hands and combined their power. Gold, silver, gray, black, and blood-red light wove together into a massive barrier called the 5-Direction Seal. A prison-level cage. Nobody inside could leave. Nobody outside could enter. Billions of Sirius Star people were trapped. Sheng Xian told the Wolf King it would stay sealed until Wolf Shadow appeared. If he showed up, they'd live. If he didn't, they'd all die inside. Then all 5 elders left. Inside the barrier, the Wolf King knelt at his palace door, blood seeping from his knees. His son Wolf Yunxiao crawled over, shaking, crying, screaming at him to say something. Then Yunxiao turned toward the barrier and screamed for Wolf Shadow to come out, begging, cursing. Nobody answered. Finally, the Wolf King spoke quietly. He said someone was trying to destroy them, someone with a deep grudge. His mind went back 10 years, to the day he attacked Blood Flame Star, killed the queen and prince himself, and left the king half dead. He remembered a 10-year-old girl standing in the ruins, covered in blood, staring at him. He shivered. Could it be her? No, impossible. A trash planet ranked past 1,000 couldn't produce this kind of genius or pull off something like this. But if not her, then who? He closed his eyes and muttered through clenched teeth, "Whoever you are, don't let me find you." Meanwhile, I was in my room at the Blood Flame Star quarters, eating noodles. When the news came that Sirius Star had been sealed instead of destroyed, Shui Wei froze mid-bite. Her spoon dropped into her porridge bowl. She'd miscalculated. She expected the top planets to crush Sirius Star like an ant. Instead, they caged them and waited for Wolf Shadow to show himself. She told me what this meant. They were actually scared. My performance was so extreme that they genuinely believed Wolf Shadow could grow powerful enough to destroy them. So instead of their usual brute force approach, they were being strategic for once. They'd never needed strategy before because nobody had ever threatened them. But there was a problem. If Wolf Shadow never appeared, they'd start wondering if he was really from Sirius Star at all. They'd investigate who had a grudge against Sirius Star. They'd find Blood Flame Star. They'd find out about the war 10 years ago, the dead queen and prince. They might suspect us. And the top planets didn't need proof. Just suspicion was enough to seal or destroy Blood Flame Star too. So I couldn't just hide forever. I needed to make them believe harder that Wolf Shadow was truly from Sirius Star. Shui Wei's plan. Ambush St. Tianjiao. Holy Light, Star's greatest genius. He was level 60 with double SSS abilities, but she was confident he couldn't beat me. I'd attack him in my Sirius Star disguise. Silver hair, wolf totem, the whole look. Hurt him badly, but not kill him. Then shout a warning. Release Sirius Star's people, or next time I'd kill him. Then teleport away before anyone could catch me. This would prove Wolf Shadow was real, that he genuinely hated the top planets, and that he truly was fighting for Sirius Star. It would take suspicion away from Bloodflame Star. She reminded me that as long as my Void Shuttle wasn't on cooldown, nobody could catch me. The risk was almost zero. After she left, I sat in my room and pulled up my status panel. Level 20, health at 6,002 quintillion, full 100% regeneration per second, 100% damage reflection, Fate's Favor, a dozen active skills including Blood Sacrifice, Void Shuttle at 1,000 kilometers, Shadow, Step for invisibility, time-slowing fields, Ice Coffin Seals, Shadow Chains, Space-cutting attacks, the Eyes of Rebirth for reading dead people's memories, plus the Mask of Deception and Thousand Illusion Mask. I looked out the window at the floating palaces of the top 10 planets in the distance. Then I started planning. I closed my panel and headed out. Changed my face to something completely ordinary. Plain black hair, plain eyes, average height. Nobody would look twice. It took about 40 minutes to reach the Holy Light Star quarters. The building was impossible to miss, solid gold, towering into the sky, with a massive glowing orb floating at the top that lit up the whole area like daylight. 20 level 100 guards stood at the entrance in golden armor with golden spears, scanning everyone who walked by. I kept walking past, turned into a narrow alley about 500 meters away, and contacted Shui Wei through the Bloodflame Stone. She told me to use stealth, enter from the side, find St. Tianjiao on the top floor, hurt him badly, but not kill him, then run. She stressed it twice. Don't kill him, or Holy Light Star would go berserk and everyone would suffer. But don't go too light either. Hit him hard enough to make them hurt and afraid. I put the stone away and transformed. Silver-white hair down to my shoulders, narrow upturned eyes, pale skin, taller frame, and the silver wolf totem on my forehead. Then I activated Shadow Step. I vanished completely. No footsteps, no breathing sounds, nothing. I had 10 minutes of invisibility. I jumped over the 10-meter wall without a sound and landed in their garden. Nobody was around. Everyone was out searching for Wolf Shadow. I walked through the golden hallways, past disciples chatting and reading, up floor after floor. Guards stood at every level. I walked right between two level 100 guards on the 6th floor. They didn't blink. Top floor. One golden door. Unlocked. Inside was a huge room, bed, desk, chair, all gold. A painting of the Holy Light Emperor hung on the wall. St. Tianjiao stood at the window with his back to me. Golden hair, golden armor, tall and broad-shouldered, standing perfectly straight. I took one step. Nothing. Another step. Nothing. On the 3rd step, he suddenly turned around and stared right at my direction. Who? I didn't hesitate. I burst out of stealth and lunged at him. Silver hair flying, wolf totem gleaming. His eyes went wide. You. I punched him square in the chest. I held back on purpose. Only about 100 billion damage. I'd estimated his health was somewhere between 100 billion and 200 billion. He flew backward like a cannonball. Through one wall. Through the next room. Through another wall. He smashed through 4 walls before getting embedded in the 5th one. Blood sprayed from his mouth. His chest was caved in. His eyes were huge with shock as he stared at me. You're Wolf Shadow. I looked at St. Tianjiao, embedded in the wall, blood pouring from his mouth, and spoke calmly. Tell your father. Release Sirius Star's people. Otherwise, next time I won't just hurt you. I'll kill you. His face went white. I activated Void Shuttle. Silver light exploded around me, and I was gone. By the time the guards rushed in, all that was left was a scorched crater on the floor. I landed back in my room at the Bloodflame Star quarters. The silver hair was already fading back to black, the wolf totem melting away from my forehead. I took a couple of deep breaths. My heart was beating fast, but it settled quickly. I found out later what happened after I left. The guards found St. Tianjiao stuck in the wall with his chest caved in, ribs broken, internal organs probably damaged. They panicked. The defense barrier hadn't gone off. The doors hadn't opened. Nobody had seen anything. It was like a ghost walked in, punched their strongest genius through 4 walls, and vanished. They called Grand Elder Shengxian. When he arrived, his level 193 pressure filled the room and forced every guard to their knees. He was completely calm. No anger, no worry, just ice-cold focus. He checked St. Tianjiao's injuries, healed him a little with golden light, then asked what happened. St. Tianjiao repeated my words, "Release Sirius Star's people, or next time Wolf Shadow would kill him." The room went dead silent. Sheng Xian said the name slowly, quietly, like grinding it between his teeth. Wolf Shadow. Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow. He ordered the scene locked down, extra guards on St. Tianjiao around the clock, and told them to notify all 9 other top planets. Wolf Shadow had appeared again. Back in my room, Shuewei burst through the door in her wrinkled nightgown and slippers. Her face was flushed, eyes bright. She asked if I hit him. I said yes. She asked how badly. I told her, chest caved in, multiple broken ribs, probably internal organ damage. She asked if I delivered the message. I repeated it for her. "Tell your father, release Sirius Star's people, or next time I'll kill you." She stared at me for 3 seconds. Then she smiled until tears ran down her face. "Good," she said, her voice shaking. "This is perfect. They shouldn't suspect Blood Flame Star now." The news about my attack on St. Tianjiao spread across every planet within 10 minutes. Their greatest genius, level 60, double SSS abilities, wearing top-tier armor, taken down by a single punch in his own room. The details made it even worse for them. One person, alone, walked through over 100 guards without being detected, punched their pride through 4 walls, delivered a threat, and vanished. Each top planet reacted differently. Star Planet's leader Xing Yao did the math. If someone could walk into Holy Light Star's heavily guarded base like it was nothing, her people couldn't catch him either. She ordered everyone to stay on alert, but told them not to try to capture Wolf Shadow. Just report if they saw him. Tai Chu Star's elder Tai Su barely reacted. He said St. Tianjiao getting beat up was Holy Light Star's problem, not theirs. He'd just wait for Wolf Shadow to make a mistake. Dark Abyss Star actually pulled all their people back. Their leader found it entertaining. Holy Light Star getting humiliated. He told his people to stop searching and just watch the show. Let Holy Light Star go crazy chasing Wolf Shadow on their own. Chaos Star's genius, Chaos Sun, just smoked his cigarette, laughed, and said the same thing he always said. Interesting. He told his people to do nothing and watch how Holy Light Star handled it. Inside the sealed barrier on Sirius Star, the Wolf King was still kneeling on the broken stone floor where he'd been for hours. His knees were bleeding. His son Wolf Yunxiao was slumped beside him, voice gone from crying, eyes swollen shut, asking if they were really going to die here. Then Sheng Xian appeared outside the barrier. He was furious now. Wolf Shadow had just attacked his own planet's heir. He told the Wolf King what happened and demanded once more to know where Wolf Shadow was. The Wolf King dragged himself to his feet on shaking legs and screamed that he didn't know. He'd said it 100 times already. Sirius Star had no Wolf Shadow. Sheng Xian asked him again, cold and slow, "Where is Wolf Shadow?" And the Wolf King had no answer. Because there was no answer to give. The person they were all hunting was sitting safely in a small room on the east side of the city, in the Blood Flame Star quarters, with a bowl of noodles. I wasn't there for any of this. I only found out later what happened inside that sealed barrier on Sirius Star. It was bad. Sheng Xian came back to interrogate the Wolf King again. The Wolf King hadn't eaten or slept in 3 days. He looked half dead already. Cracked lips, sunken eyes, filthy and broken. When he still couldn't produce Wolf Shadow, Sheng Xian broke his right arm with golden light. Snapped the bone in half, the white edges poking through the skin. The Wolf King didn't scream. So Sheng Xian went after his son. They dragged Wolf Yunxiao in and broke his arms one at a time while his father watched. Yunxiao screamed until he didn't sound human anymore, begging, crying, swearing he didn't know anything. The Wolf King offered his own life in exchange for his son's safety. Sheng Xian didn't care. It went on all day, from morning until night. They brought in generals, ministers, princes, princesses, one after another. Broke their limbs. Some passed out and got woken up with cold water. Some went insane. Every single one said the same thing. They didn't know who Wolf Shadow was. Because it was true. They really didn't. By nightfall, the throne room floor was covered in blood. The Wolf King lay face down with all 4 limbs twisted at wrong angles. Wolf Yunxiao lay beside him, both arms shattered from the shoulders down, fingers broken, knees crushed. He was 20 years old. A year ago he'd been strutting around Origin Star in shiny armor, bullying Shuewei. Now he looked like a broken dog. Their general, level 188, lay with a cloth stuffed in his mouth, all limbs broken, clawing at the stone floor with bleeding fingernails. Their prime minister had lost his mind. Entirely, curled up in a corner, muttering that he wasn't from Sirius Star, begging not to be killed, until he suddenly went silent and stared at nothing with empty eyes. The eldest prince knelt in the blood, hair ripped from his scalp, one eye swollen shut, asking his father if they were truly finished. Sheng Xian left one order before walking out. Keep the barrier up. 1 month, 2 months, a year, 2 years, however long it took. Don't let any of them die. Let them suffer 1,000 times worse than what Wolf Shadow did to Saint Tianjiao. Then the hall went quiet. Moonlight came through the broken ceiling and fell on all those broken people lying in pools of blood. And I was the reason for all of it. Me and Shui Wei's 10 years of hatred. I wasn't there, but I saw everything later when they broadcast it. What happened inside that barrier was worse than I imagined. The Wolf King lay face down in blood, all 4 limbs broken. His eldest son knelt nearby, face smashed, nose crooked, one eye swollen shut. His daughter, the second princess, was curled up in a corner, clothes torn, shaking, whispering, "Don't touch me," over and over. Hundreds of their people lay across the throne room floor. Broken arms, broken legs, some unconscious, some insane, blood running between the stone tiles like little streams. The Wolf King couldn't move. He could only watch. All day, from morning to night, he watched his people get dragged in and tortured one after another. Something changed in him. He started out afraid, then angry, then desperate, then empty. But by the end, all that was left was hate. Not for Wolf Shadow, for Holy Light Star. For the people who did this to them without proof, without listening, without caring whether it was true. He whispered it lying in his own blood, staring up at the broken ceiling. He prayed that Wolf Shadow would grow strong and kill every last person in Holy Light Star. Every single one. His son Yinxiao asked him, shouldn't he hate Wolf Shadow instead? Wolf Shadow was the one who caused all this. The Wolf King said yes, he hated Wolf Shadow too, but he hated Holy Light Star more. They didn't ask questions, didn't care about the truth, just decided Sirius Star was guilty and started breaking bones. They didn't treat them like people. Yinxiao asked what would happen if Wolf Shadow grew strong and came for Sirius Star too. His father was quiet for a long time. Then he said it didn't matter. What mattered was that Holy Light Star had to die. Then Sheng Xian did something that made everything worse. He ordered the footage broadcast on every public crystal screen across Origin Star. All of it. The Wolf King broken on the floor. Yinxiao's shattered arms. The princess with torn clothes. Hundreds of people lying in blood. At the bottom of the screen, one line in golden letters. This is what happens when you oppose Holy Light Star. Then Sheng Xian appeared on screen, standing in front of all that carnage, and spoke directly to Wolf Shadow. You see this? This is what your Sirius Star gets for making enemies of Holy Light Star. You said you'd kill the top 10 planets? I'm waiting. Holy Light Star will be here anytime. Tens of millions of people across Origin Star watched in silence. Some went pale. Some clenched their fists. Some looked away. Some smiled coldly. But nobody said a word, because Holy Light Star's warriors were standing right there, watching everyone like hawks. Nobody dared. After the broadcast ended, the plaza went dead quiet. Millions of people stood there terrified, not of Wolf Shadow, but of Holy Light Star. If they could do that to a planet ranked 73rd, what chance did anyone weaker have? The other top planets were all playing it smart. Chaos Star's guy leaned against a pillar laughing, saying they'd just watched the show. Star Planet's leader figured Holy Light Star was painting a target on themselves. If Wolf Shadow retaliated, they'd be first to get hit. Tai Chu Star's elder said Wolf Shadow wouldn't take the bait because he wasn't stupid. Dark Abyss Star's people hid in their shadows, whispering that the real entertainment was still coming. Back in my room, I watched the broadcast with Shui Wei. She said seeing Sirius Star tortured felt satisfying and cathartic after what they'd done to her family. But she warned me, this was a trap. Holy Light Star wanted to make me angry enough to show up. And they might have space-locking treasures that could block teleportation skills. If I went and couldn't teleport out, I'd be dead. I told her I wasn't going. The mission was already accomplished. Everyone believed Wolf Shadow was from Sirius Star. Going now would be walking right into their hands. Staying away would leave them helpless. She asked what I planned to do next. Clear more rifts, I said. She stared at me. I explained. Every time I entered a rift, I used a different face. They couldn't find me. Last time they only caught me because I wanted to be caught. And even if something went wrong, I had Void Shuttle to escape. She laughed and called me a genius. Then she told me to go ahead. Let them pour all their manpower into hunting someone they'd never find. I headed back to the teleportation plaza with an ordinary face, black hair, round features, completely forgettable. The atmosphere had changed. People were whispering about the siege on Sirius Star, debating whether Wolf Shadow would show up, whether anyone could beat a level 193 Elder. Some wondered if Wolf Shadow had already left Origin Star, but others pointed out that Holy Light Star had checked every teleportation gate's records. No Sirius Star person had departed. In the middle of the plaza, they'd put up a wanted poster. Wolf Shadow, Sirius Star. Crime: attacking St. Tianjiao. Reward: 10 resource planets for information, 100 for a live capture, 50 for a kill. Issued by Holy Light Star. I looked at it and thought I was worth quite a lot. Then I turned and walked toward the teleportation gates to clear more rifts. I headed to gate 201, the Dragon Nest, ranked number 1 among all level 20 rifts. The hardest one. Only a few tens of thousands of people stood outside, much less than other gates. Not many dared to try. The leaderboard showed St. Tianjiao in first place at 121 hours, over 5 days. I walked in. Inside was a massive underground cavern with glowing crystals on the ceiling like stars. And dragons. Real dragons, not lizards. Each one 100 meters long, covered in black scales, with golden slit pupil eyes. 1,000,000 of them, filling the space like a black ocean. The rules were straightforward. Kill all 1,000,000 baby dragons. Each had 10 million attack power and 1 billion health. They could breathe fire for 50 million damage, and their dragon pressure cut all your stats in half. They wouldn't run. Either I killed them all, or they killed me. I smiled and turned on my taunt. Every dragon within range went berserk. Their eyes turned blood red. They came at me in a wave: claws, teeth, fire breath, tail whips. Millions of damage hitting me every second. And every single hit bounced right back at them through my reflect passive. My health, 6,002 quintillion. Regeneration, 100% per second. Their attacks were nothing. I just stood there. Let them come. Let them die. 15 minutes later, I climbed out of a mountain of dragon corpses. 1,000,000 dragons, all dead. Time: 15 minutes 22 seconds. The old record was 121 hours. My reward was Dragon Pressure, a passive that cuts all enemies' stats by 50% within 100 meters. Useful, though not game-changing for me. I walked out and headed straight for the next rift. About 10 steps later, the crystal board updated behind me. Dragon Nest, first place, Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow, 15 minutes 22 seconds. The plaza went completely silent. Then it erupted. People were losing their minds. 1,000,000 dragons in 15 minutes. That's over 1,000 kills per second. And Wolf Shadow had just attacked St. Tianjiao not long ago. He assaulted Holy Light Star's heir, escaped, and immediately went to casually smash the hardest rift's record while Holy Light Star was busy torturing Sirius Star's people. The news spread everywhere within minutes. At the Holy Light Star quarters, Sheng Xian sat like a stone statue, staring at the numbers. 15 minutes versus his protege's 121 hours. He couldn't even calculate how many times faster that was. He didn't want to. He stood up and said one thing: call a meeting of all senior leaders on Origin Star. And I was already walking toward my next rift. I wasn't in that meeting room, but I pieced together what happened from information I got later. Holy Light Star's top 12 leaders on Origin Star gathered around a long table. Sheng Xian sat at the head with 5 crystal boards floating in front of him, my 5 records, all laid out. Their intelligence chief, Sheng Yun, level 190, hadn't slept in days. He stood up and read the numbers out loud. Fraud Maze, 70 times faster than the old record. Mirror of 1,000 Faces, 210 times faster. Void Corridor, 35 times faster. Afterlife Fragments, 125 times more fragments absorbed. Dragon Nest, 475 times faster. The room went dead quiet when he finished. Then he said the scariest part wasn't the records themselves. It was that I broke all 5 while they were searching for me across the entire city. I didn't care about their manhunt, their sealed barrier, their 100-planet bounty. I just kept clearing rifts and smashing records like none of it mattered. I was telling them they couldn't catch me. He went over the attack on St. Tianjiao frame by frame. I had stealth that fooled level 100 warriors. I punched through a level 60 genius with double SSS abilities and eternal grade armor in full defense mode, through 4 walls with a single hit. That meant my attack power was far beyond level 100, and my teleportation was at least 500 kilometers, instant, usable in combat, couldn't be interrupted. He listed what they knew about my abilities: insane luck, massive health, overwhelming attack power, stealth, long-range teleportation. Any one of those on a level 20 awakener would make them a genius. All 5 together made me something else entirely, a monster that broke the rules of what they thought was possible. Their once-in-a-century geniuses were like children compared to me, and they'd already made an enemy of me beyond any chance of making peace. They'd sealed Sirius Star, tortured its people, broadcast the suffering for everyone to see. Whoever Wolf Shadow really was, he'd seen all of it. He wouldn't forgive them. Nobody would. Sheng Xian said it plainly. There was no going back. Either I die, or they do. Everyone stood up immediately, shouting for action. They argued that I was still level 20, no matter how strong my abilities were. The rules of this world meant a level 20 couldn't actually damage anyone above level 120. My skills all had cooldowns. If they could find me, lock me down, and control me, I'd still die like any level 20. They just had to find me first. I found out later what Holy Lightstar did after I broke the Dragon Nest record. Sheng Xian called an emergency meeting, not just his own people, but all 10 top-ranked planets. He summoned them to a floating black hall in the center of Origin City where 10 high-back chairs sat in a circle, each carved with a different planet's symbol. Everyone came. Star planets Xingyao, level 192. Tai Chu stars Tai Su, level 192, sitting with his eyes closed as usual. Dark Abyss star sent a cloud of black fog with red eyes flickering inside. Chaos star's bald fighter sat shirtless, smoking. The other 5 planets filled the remaining seats, all level 190 and above. Sheng Xian put my 5 records up on a giant light screen. All 5 first-place finishes, all under Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow. He didn't ask for opinions. He said this was a notification, not a discussion. Wolf Shadow had to die. Xingyao accused him of wanting them to be his weapons. He shut that down fast. Wolf Shadow had threatened all 10 planets, not just Holy Light Star. If I grew stronger, every single one of them would be a target. This wasn't his fight alone. It was everyone's. Then he laid out his plan. He wanted each of the 10 planets to dismantle their grade, 1 space lockdown array from their own headquarters on Origin Star, and move them all to the teleportation plaza. Each array could block teleportation within its range. Even level 200 warriors couldn't teleport through one without special tools. But one array couldn't cover the entire 10-kilometer plaza. 10 arrays together could. The catch was serious. Each planet only had 1 array on Origin Star. Removing it meant their headquarters would lose its teleportation defense. Some protested. What if someone attacked while the arrays were gone? Sheng Xian pointed out that nobody would dare attack a top 10 planet's base. And besides, the real threat was me. I'd keep clearing rifts, keep getting stronger, and eventually come for all of them one by one. Some complained about the energy cost of running 10 arrays continuously. Sheng Xian said each planet would pay 1/10. When the 7th-ranked planet objected, saying their grudge with Wolf Shadow wasn't as deep, Sheng Xian reminded him. I said I'd kill all 10 planets, no exceptions. If the top 6 fell, did he really think number 7 would be spared? Nobody argued after that. Sheng Xian gave them a deadline. Tomorrow. All 10 arrays at the teleportation plaza. Anyone who didn't comply would face consequences. He walked out. The remaining 9 sat there, thinking. Xingyao's advisor asked if they'd really dismantle their array. She stood up and said yes. Sheng Xian was right. If Wolf Shadow didn't die, they all would. So now they were building a trap specifically for me. A 10-kilometer zone where teleportation was impossible. If I stepped into that plaza to clear another rift, I wouldn't be able to use Void Shuttle to escape. I didn't know any of this yet, but I was about to find out. After the Dragon Nest, I ducked into an alley, and Shui Wei contacted me through the Blood Flame Stone. She was amazed again. Saint Tianjiao's Dragon Nest record had been celebrated for 3 days across all of Origin Star. I beat it in 15 minutes without breaking a sweat. Then she got serious. She'd gotten intelligence that Holy Light Star was organizing all 10 top planets to dismantle their grade, 1 space lockdown arrays from their headquarters, and combine them at the teleportation plaza. 10 arrays forming a circle, covering the entire 10-kilometer area. Once active, no teleportation skills would work inside, including my Void Shuttle. She told me I needed to clear one specific rift before they finished setting up. Gate 211, the boundary-breaking rift, ranked 11th in difficulty. The reward was a one-time item called a boundary-breaking talisman. It lets you ignore a grade, one space lockdown, and force one teleportation. One use, then it's gone. She said the rift was unpopular because the reward seemed weak for how hard it was. But with my ability to shatter records, I might get something even better than the basic version. Higher scores always meant better rewards. I headed to gate 211. It was in the most remote corner of the plaza, small gate, dim ruins, only a few hundred people standing around. The record was held by Tai Su, the Tai Chu Star Elder, from when he was young, 47 hours. I stepped inside. The moment I opened my eyes, I couldn't move. The space itself was pressing down on me from every direction, like 10,000 invisible hands holding every part of my body. I couldn't lift a foot, raise a hand, or even turn my neck. The voice explained, everything was slowed by 95%. Movement, attacks, skill casting, all 20 times slower than normal. This effect couldn't be resisted by anything. But the enemies, 10,000 boundary-breaking beasts, were completely unaffected. They could fly, teleport, and attack from any angle at full speed. Level 20, 20 million attack, 2 billion health each. For anyone else, this rift was a death sentence. You'd just stand there like a frozen target while monsters tore you apart. But I didn't need to move. I activated my taunt. Ice Corpse Rage Taunt. Instantly, 10,000 pairs of blood-red eyes lit up in the fog, and they came pouring out toward me. The boundary-breaking beasts came at me from every direction, 5-meter-long lizard-like creatures covered in silver-white scales. I couldn't move at all with the 95% speed reduction, but I didn't need to. They attacked me nonstop. Every hit did 20 million damage. Every hit bounced right back. Their claws exploded, their teeth shattered, their tails snapped, their heads split open. They kept coming anyway because my taunt forced them to. My health was 6,002 quintillion. I regenerated 100% per second. Their damage was less than a rounding error of a rounding error. I just stood there like a statue and let them kill themselves on my reflect. 2 minutes and 8 seconds. All 10,000 dead. Old record, 47 hours. New record, 2 minutes 8 seconds. And the reward wasn't a one-time talisman like Shui Wei expected. It was a permanent active skill called Boundary Breaking Domain. 10 seconds after activation, it completely ignores grade, one space lockdowns, letting me use any teleportation skill inside a sealed zone. 1 hour cooldown. Their entire trap, 10 planets dismantling their defense arrays to seal the plaza, was already useless before they even set it up. I walked out, and the leaderboard updated again. By now, people in the plaza were numb. 6 rifts, 6 shattered records. They'd gone from screaming to just staring at the board like it was a weather report. Another one from Wolf Shadow. Yep, shocked. Too numb to be shocked, I contacted Shui Wei from an alley. She nearly lost it when I told her the reward wasn't a one-time item, but a reusable skill. She said she was beyond being surprised by me at this point. She confirmed that the 10 planets had agreed to set up the lockdown arrays tomorrow. But with my new skill, their blockade wouldn't matter. I could teleport out anytime, even inside a sealed zone. She asked what I planned to do next. I told her I'd clear them all. 200 level 20 rifts total, 6 done, 194 left. I planned to finish in 2 days. She was quiet for 10 seconds. Then she called me a maniac and hung up. I headed to gate 212, the Shadow Abyss, rank 12th. I stepped through the light into pure darkness. Inside the Shadow Abyss, everything was pure darkness. I couldn't see anything. No vision, no sensing abilities, nothing worked. But the Shadow Beasts could see me perfectly. 50,000 of them, each with 50 million attack power. I didn't need to see them. I turned on my taunt. Thousands of blood-red eyes lit up in the darkness and rushed at me like a storm of meteors. I stood still and let them attack. Every hit bounced back through my reflect. One by one, those red eyes went out like candles in the wind. 2 minutes, 33 seconds. All 50,000 dead. Old record, 33 hours. My reward was a new skill, Shadow Clone. It splits me into 10 copies, each with 10% of my health and attack power, lasting 10 minutes, with a 7-day cooldown. Each clone can use all my skills. Then an idea hit me. What if I combined Shadow Clone with my twin body skill? Shadow Clone makes 10 temporary copies that last 10 minutes. Twin Body makes 1 permanent copy. What if each shadow clone used twin body to create its own permanent copy? Would those permanent copies survive after the shadow clones disappeared? I ducked into a deep, empty alley and activated shadow clone. 10 copies of me appeared. I asked the first one if it could use twin body. It checked its skill panel and said yes. I told them all to do it. One by one, each shadow clone split off a twin body copy. 10 shadow clones made 10 twin body copies. 20 versions of me now stood in the alley. I quickly gave clothes to the 10 new twin body copies since they appeared naked with my original face. Then I waited. 10 minutes. That's how long the shadow clones lasted. My heart was pounding. If the shadow clones vanished but the twin body copies stayed, I'd have found a bug in the system, a way to create permanent copies of myself every 7 days. The seconds crawled by. 9 minutes. 7, 5, 3, 1. Time's up. The 10 shadow clones vanished instantly, like someone hit delete. I stared at the 10 twin body copies. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. They were still standing there. They didn't disappear. The bug worked, and it was even better than I expected. I checked one of the twin body copies' stats. Blood, 6,002 quintillion. Not 10%, the full 100%. I checked the other 9. All the same. Full power. I figured out why. Twin bodies rule says both sides share power in real time. While the shadow clones existed, the twin body copies shared their 10% stats. But when the shadow clones vanished, the twin body copies had no source to link to. So the system's logic automatically connected them to me, the main body. Their power jumped from 10% to 100% instantly. Then I had another thought. What if the copies used shadow clone themselves to make more copies? Infinite multiplication. I told the first copy to try it. Nothing happened. The skill was grayed out. The description said, clones cannot use this skill. Since twin body copies were still technically clones, they couldn't activate shadow clone either. No infinite stacking. Only I could use shadow clone, and only every 7 days. So 10 new permanent copies per week. I could live with that. The problem was these 10 copies all had my real face. I couldn't send them to clear rifts looking like me. That would blow my cover. I needed to get them a disguise ability first. I remembered from Shuewei's notes that there was a rift called the 1000-Face Illusion, ranked 15th. Its reward was a passive skill called Illusion Form that changes your appearance, build, and energy signature. The current record holder's version could fool anyone within 10 levels above them. That wasn't enough for me, so I'd need to crush the record again. I told the 10 copies to scatter into the crowd and wait. Then I headed to gate 215. The leaderboard showed 53 hours for first place. I walked in. Inside was a gray empty space with a single narrow path stretching into fog. 999 steps long. Each step pulls you into an illusion. Your deepest fears, your worst regrets, the people you want most. The illusion grabs the softest part of your heart and squeezes. Break free to take the next step. Fail, and you stay trapped forever. 999 steps, 999 illusions. The 1000-Face Illusion Rift had 999 steps on a narrow path. Each step pulls you into an illusion built from your deepest fears, regrets, and desires. Break free to take the next step. Fail, and you're trapped forever. I used the same trick as before. I pulled my soul out of my main body and controlled it remotely from my clone on Blue Star. The illusions tried to grab my consciousness, but the main body was empty, nothing to grab. I just ran the puppet straight down the path without stopping. 999 steps in 47 seconds. Old record, 53 hours. Over 4,000 times faster. The reward was Illusion Form, a passive skill that changes my face, body, energy, and ability wavelength. With my score, it could fool anyone up to 100 levels above me. At level 20, that meant anyone up to level 120 couldn't see through my disguise. The moment I got the skill, all 10 of my permanent copies received it too through our shared link. They each found a hidden spot and changed their appearances. Different hair, different faces, different builds. 11 of us now, all looking completely different, scattered across the plaza. Then we went to work. I walked into gate 216. Ice Hell, ranked 16th. At the same moment, Clone 1 entered gate 217, Firestorm Purgatory. Clone 2 entered gate 218, Thunder Canyon. Clone 3 entered gate 219, Poison Fog Swamp. Clone 4 entered gate 220, Gravity Abyss. 5 gates lit up almost simultaneously. About 2 minutes later, all 5 of us walked out at almost the same time. Ice Hell, 2 minutes 17 seconds. Firestorm Purgatory, 1 minute 58 seconds. Thunder Canyon, 2 minutes 3 seconds. Poison Fog Swamp, 2 minutes 22 seconds. Gravity Abyss, 1 minute 47 seconds. All 5 leaderboards updated at once. All 5 showed first place, Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow. My mask of deception could change all records linked to my name, including the clone's results, so everything showed up as Wolf Shadow. 5 records broken simultaneously. The plaza didn't just go quiet for a moment this time. It went completely, absolutely, deathly silent. Tens of millions of people stood frozen, staring up at 5 crystal boards all showing the same name, all showing impossible times, all updated in the same second. Wolf Shadow had just cleared 5 rifts at the same time. The plaza went insane after 5 leaderboards updated at the same time. People were rubbing their eyes, pinching their faces, sitting down because their legs gave out. Someone figured it out quickly. The Shadow Abyss reward was a clone skill. The original version only made 1 clone lasting 1 minute. But since I'd crushed the record by 800 times, people guessed I got an upgraded version. Maybe 4 clones lasting 3 minutes each. That made sense to them. 5 people, me plus 4 clones, clearing 5 rifts simultaneously. They were wrong about the details, but close enough. The real numbers were far more terrifying, but their guess was reasonable. The news spread faster than ever. 3 seconds to East District, 5 to West, 10 seconds across all of Origin Star, 20 seconds to every second-tier planet. At Holy Light Star's headquarters, Sheng Xian sat staring at 5 crystal boards. His intelligence chief, Sheng Kong, confirmed that the original Shadow Abyss reward was 1 clone at 10% power lasting 1 minute. But with my record being 800 times faster, an upgraded version with 4+ clones lasting several minutes was entirely plausible. Then Sheng Xian did something I wouldn't have expected. He started calculating whether I could finish all 200 level 20 rifts in 1 day. In the entire history of second-tier planets, nobody had ever cleared all of them. The most anyone ever managed was 28, spread across days with rest between each one. But Sheng Xian was seriously asking whether I could do all 200 today. He concluded I couldn't. His math, 187 rifts remaining, clones had time limits, and once they expired I'd have to clear them one by one. Even at 5 minutes per rift, that was over 16 hours of non-stop clearing, not counting travel time, rest, or eating. So as long as I couldn't maintain 5 simultaneous clones indefinitely, I wouldn't finish today. And tomorrow, their 10-space lockdown arrays would be in place. Once inside the plaza, no teleportation, no escape. He ordered everyone to set up the arrays on schedule, no delays. And he wanted surveillance on everything I did, how many clones I had, how long they lasted, their cooldown times. He was wrong about one critical thing, of course. My clones were permanent, but he didn't know that yet. The top planets all agreed with Sheng Xian's analysis. Wolf Shadow couldn't finish all 200 rifts today. They thought my clones lasted maybe 15 minutes at most. Star planet Xing Yao did her own math and realized even 1 day of powering the lockdown arrays would eat a huge chunk of their resources. A week would drain their entire monthly budget. Holy Light Star could afford it. They were ranked first. Everyone else would bleed. But she said they had no choice. Wolf Shadow couldn't be allowed to grow. They were all wrong about one thing. My clones were permanent. Shuiwei contacted me after the 5 simultaneous clears. She demanded to know how I did it. I told her, sort of. I said the upgraded Shadow clone gave me 10 copies with 100% of my power, lasting 1 day, 7-day cooldown. I didn't tell her they were permanent. No reason to show all my cards yet. She calculated it instantly. I didn't need 2 days. I could finish everything in about 2 hours. She told me to go ahead and let them set up their lockdown arrays tomorrow, only to find every single rift already cleared. So I gave the order. All 10 clones received instructions simultaneously. They spread across the plaza heading to different gates. 11 of us entered 11 rifts at the same time. About 2.5 minutes later, 11 leaderboards updated at once. Storm's Eye, Earth Rift, Ocean Abyss, Molten Heart, Frost Peak, Shadow Forest, Thunder's Wrath, Hurricane Eye, Gravity Maze, Time Rift, Void Horizon, all first place, all Wolf Shadow, all under 3 minutes. The plaza didn't just go quiet. People couldn't even form words anymore. Some just stood making incoherent sounds. 11 records, broken simultaneously. Not 5 like before, 11. People figured it out fast. Not 4 clones, but 10. 10 clones plus 1 original, 11 total. At Holy Light Star's headquarters, Sheng Xian stared at 11 crystal boards. His intelligence chief was shaking, recalculating everything. Their earlier analysis was wrong. I didn't have 4 clones. I had 10, and the clone duration wasn't 10 minutes. With the time between my 2 batches, it had been well over 10 minutes, and the clones were still active. Maybe 15 minutes? 20? They were starting to panic. If the clones lasted long enough, I could clear all 200 rifts today, and their lockdown arrays wouldn't be ready until tomorrow. At Holy Light Star's headquarters, their intelligence chief ran the numbers. 176 rifts left, 11 per batch, about 5 minutes per batch, including travel time. If my clones could last 80 minutes, I'd finish everything in 2 hours. But he argued that was impossible. Historically, even the most extreme record breakers only got rewards about 10 to 20 times better than normal. The original Shadow Abyss reward lasted 1 minute. Even with generous estimates, he said my clones couldn't last more than 20 minutes. 20 minutes meant 4 batches, 44 rifts. Plus my earlier 24, that would be 68 total. Still 132 left, and I'd have to clear those one by one. They concluded I couldn't finish today. Sheng Xian accepted the analysis, but something nagged at him. He said he had a bad feeling things wouldn't go the way they calculated. His people told him he was just tired. He waved them off and left. They were very, very wrong. Out on the plaza, the crowd had swollen to hundreds of millions. People weren't even there to clear rifts. They just sat on the ground staring up at the leaderboards, waiting for the next update like it was a show. And the show kept coming. Every few minutes, 11 boards lit up at once, batch after batch, ranks 24 through 35, then 35 through 46, then 46 through 57, then 57 through 68, then 68 through 79. People in the crowd started doing math out loud. 132 rifts left, 11 per batch, 12 batches, 5 minutes each. About 1 more hour, and I'd be done. Someone joked about taking photos of the leaderboard as a souvenir since they'd never see anything like it again. The 200 crystal boards were arranged in a neat grid, 20 rows of 10. The first 79 were now all showing the same name, Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow, a solid wall of one name, pushing every other planet's records down to second place. People were laughing, cracking jokes about what Holy Light Star's leaders must be doing right now. Having a meeting. About what? About how to kill Wolf Shadow. Kill him? They don't even know where he is. That's why they're having the meeting. Everyone was watching. Everyone was counting. And the boards just kept lighting up, 11 at a time, like clockwork. I was barely paying attention to the crowd. I just kept moving. In and out of gates, one batch after another, my 10 clones spread across the plaza doing the same thing. Mechanical. Efficient. Unstoppable. At Holy Light Star's headquarters, Sheng Xian watched his intelligence chief's predictions crumble in real time. Sheng Kong had said my clones could last 20 minutes at most. 40 minutes passed. My clones were still going. When Sheng Xian asked him to explain, he couldn't. Everything he'd calculated based on historical data was completely wrong. Sheng Xian said the duration didn't matter anymore. What mattered was that I was really going to finish all 200 rifts today. Their lockdown arrays, scheduled for tomorrow, would be pointless. When one of his elders asked what the point of setting up the arrays would be if I finished today, Sheng Xian snapped at him. Of course there'd be no point. He stormed out. Out on the plaza, the crowd kept growing. Hundreds of millions now. People brought folding chairs and snacks. They weren't there to clear rifts. They were there to watch history happen. The leaderboards had become a show. Batch after batch, 11 at a time, the boards kept updating. 79, then 90, then 101. Someone pointed out that over half the leaderboard was now pure Wolf Shadow. People took photos. Some just sat and stared. 102 to 113. 114 to 125. 126 to 137. 138 to 148. 149 to 160. 161 to 172. 173 to 184. My 10 clones, and I moved like clockwork through the plaza. Into a rift, out, walk to the next one, in again. No stopping, no resting, no slowing down. 185 to 196. For left, the entire plaza held its breath, staring at those last 4 crystal boards. Then all 4 lit up at once. 200 out of 200. Every single level 20 rift. First place on every single one. All showing the same name, Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow. The plaza erupted like nothing before. People were crying. Not from sadness, from the sheer emotion of witnessing something that had never happened in the entire history of second-tier planets. Nobody had ever cleared all rifts of the same level. Nobody had even come close. The old record was 28. Tens of millions of people started chanting my fake name. Wolf Shadow, Wolf Shadow, Wolf Shadow. The sound was like an earthquake. The whole of Origin Star shook with it. I didn't stick around to hear it. The moment my main body stepped out of the last rift, I used Void Shuttle and teleported back to my room at the Blood Flame Star quarters. My 10 clones, I gave them money and sent them to rent separate rooms across the city to live on their own. 200 rifts. All done. In about 2 hours. And tomorrow, when the 10 top planets finished setting up their grand space lockdown array across the entire plaza, they'd find there was nothing left for me to clear. I stood in my room at the Blood Flame Star quarters. The curtains were drawn, but I could still hear millions of people chanting, Wolf Shadow, from the plaza. I checked my panel. 195 rifts cleared today. 194 new skills acquired. Most of them useless stuff like basic healing and minor strength boosts. Not worth anything at my level, but they'd serve as fuel for the forge later when I needed to upgrade my core skills. The real prize was a card I'd gotten, the Heaven Tower card, grade 3. It let me enter the Heaven Tower and clear floors continuously without leaving, up to floor 29. That meant I could jump straight from level 20 to level 30. Same function as the grade 2 card I'd used before. It would save me 9 weeks of waiting. And tomorrow was Sunday, Tower Day. The door opened without a knock. Shuewei walked in. She was wearing a dark red silk nightgown, very thin, very short. Her hair was still damp from washing. No makeup, bare feet on the floor. She looked different from during the day. Her eyes had something in them I hadn't seen before. Nervousness, hesitation, something else. She stood very close to me and said she wanted to have a child with me. I told her no. She reminded me I was still bound to her. I said I still couldn't accept. She stood there quietly for a long time. Then she smiled. A light, thin smile that didn't reach her eyes. She said she knew I'd say that. She'd known from the first time we met what kind of person I was. Couldn't be killed, couldn't be crushed, couldn't be tamed. Won't make a sound even in pain. Won't kneel even with broken bones. Then she said something that surprised me. She said after watching me crush all 200 rifts today, she felt I'd eventually break free of her control. She asked if I'd kill her when that happened. I thought about it for 3 seconds. I don't know. She laughed, a real laugh this time. She said if I'd said no, she wouldn't have believed me. But, I don't know, made her think I probably wouldn't. She touched my face lightly. Her fingertips were cold and trembling. Then she stepped back and told me plainly. She was still going to use me. Use me to clear rifts, break records, destroy Sirius Star. Once her mother's death was avenged, even if I killed her afterward, it would be worth it. Her eyes were shining with tears, but none fell. She turned to leave. At the door, she asked about the Heaven Tower card. I told her it went up to floor 29. She started calculating. Tomorrow, I'd hit level 30, clear a passive rift at that level, then finish all 200 level 30 rifts in one day. Halfway through saying it, she stopped herself and said she couldn't even finish the sentence because it didn't sound like something a human being could do. She left. I sat there looking at the closed door for a while. Her request tonight. It was probably her father's idea. The Blood Flame King must have seen my performance today and realized I might break free of their control someday. Having a child would be another way to tie me down. Or maybe she'd come up with it herself, sensing the same thing. I pulled the covers over my head and went to sleep. Tomorrow was the Heaven Tower. I was already asleep when Holy Light Star was planning their next move. I found out about it later. Sheng Xian sat in his meeting room staring at the leaderboard. All 200 slots showing the same name. His space lockdown plan for the teleportation plaza was useless now. There was nothing left for me to clear there. But he figured out something important. I was level 20. I'd finished all the level 20 rifts. The next step was obvious. I needed to level up. And tomorrow was Sunday, the day the Heaven Tower opened. He knew I'd have a Heaven Tower card from one of the rifts. The previous record holder got one that let them clear continuously up to floor 24. With my scores, mine could go to at least 25, maybe 29. That meant I wouldn't enter and exit one floor at a time like normal people. I'd go in and clear multiple floors in a row. And the key detail, the Heaven Tower shows real-time data outside. Who's inside, what floor they're on, how long they've been there, all visible. So if anyone started at floor 20 and kept climbing past 25 without stopping, that person had to be Wolf Shadow. No one else would have a card like that. Sheng Xian gave new orders. Forget the teleportation plaza. Move all 10 space lockdown arrays to surround the 10 Heaven Tower entrances instead. One array per entrance, completely sealed. Each entrance would have at least one level 190 warrior and 100 level 100 fighter stationed there. When I walked out of the tower, I wouldn't be able to teleport. Couldn't escape, couldn't run. They'd kill me on the spot. Whoever came out with those abnormal clearing stats, no hesitation, just strike. He told everyone watching the tower data to report any unusual clearing patterns immediately. He stood alone at his window afterward, looking out at the gray night sky, and whispered that this time I wouldn't get away. He didn't know I had the boundary-breaking domain skill, 10 seconds of ignoring any space lockdown, once per hour. His trap was already useless before he even said it, but I didn't know about his plan yet either. I was just sleeping, getting ready for tomorrow. Sunday morning, Heaven Tower Day. Shuewei told me what was waiting. All 10 top planets had moved their space lockdown arrays to the 10 Heaven Tower entrances. Each entrance had a level 190 warrior and 100 level 100 fighters. It was a trap so obvious it might as well have a sign. She asked if I was sure about going. I told her I had to. If I didn't go today, they'd set up the same ambush next time. There was no avoiding it. She told me not to die. I told her I wouldn't. I walked to the first entrance. The plaza was packed. Tens of millions of people had come to watch. Holy Light Star's Sheng Xian was there personally, standing at the front with 100 golden-armored warriors behind him. Star Planet's Xing Yao stood beside him, level 192. Chaos Star's bald guy was there too, joking about which entrance I'd pick. People in the crowd were debating. Could Wolf Shadow beat a level 190? Everyone agreed, impossible. The rules of this world meant a level 20 couldn't deal any damage to anything above level 120. Coming here was walking into certain death. But I had no choice. I couldn't stay level 20 forever. What none of them knew was that my disguise could fool anyone up to level 200. I walked right past two of the strongest warriors guarding the entrance, a level 190 and a level 192, and they didn't even glance at me. Just another ordinary-looking level 20 kid with a round face and black hair. I stepped through the blue light gate and disappeared. Nobody noticed. Inside the tower, I stood on a transparent platform in gray empty space. I pulled out my Heaven Tower card and placed it on the platform. It melted into silver light that spread everywhere. The system confirmed. Continuous clearing mode activated, floors 20 through 29. Monsters would get stronger with each floor, and floor 29's guardian would be 3 times stronger than floor 28's. I said start. Floor 20 dropped me onto a wasteland with 100 armored giant lizards, level 20 elites. I activated my taunt. They all rushed me, biting everywhere. Each hit did 200,000 damage, completely meaningless against my health. Every bite bounced back and split their heads open. 20 seconds. 100 dead lizards at my feet. Floor 20 cleared. Continue? Yes. Outside the tower, people noticed almost immediately. The display on the tower's outer wall showed my progress. Floor 20 cleared in 20 seconds. The crowd started buzzing. Then floor 21 in 21 seconds. Floor 22 in 19 seconds. Floor 23. Floor 24. Each one about 20 seconds, each one shattering the old record. By floor 24, everyone knew it was me. 5 consecutive floors with a continuous clearing card. Only Wolf Shadow could have that. Sheng Xian confirmed it. It's him. He ordered the space lockdown array activated immediately. Golden runes spread across the entire plaza floor and formed a massive dome. No teleportation possible inside. Then he pulled all forces from the other 9 entrances to this one. 1,000 level 100 warriors, 10 level 190 elders, all packed around the first entrance. They cleared out the spectators, shoving tens of millions of people beyond a 1,000-meter perimeter. Anyone who resisted got hit hard enough to lose teeth. Inside the barrier, it was just them. Sheng Xian at the front, Xing Yao on his left, Tai Su on his right, Dark Abyss Star's Black Fog behind him, Chaos Star's Bald Fighter to the side. 1,000 warriors in golden, silver, gray, and black armor formed 3 layers of a circle around the entrance. Airtight, they watched the display climb. Floor 25, 26, 27, 28, each one about 20 seconds. Even the elders' hands were shaking now. Floor 29, cleared. 10 consecutive floors. Every single one a record. Nobody spoke. Then the display changed, clearing complete. Teleporting out of tower. Countdown. 10, 9, 8. Sheng Xian's voice exploded across the plaza. Ready. 1,000 warriors moved at once. Weapons drawn. armor clanking, forming an impossibly tight ring around the entrance. 3 layers deep. Sheng Xian stood 10 meters from the gate, golden light blazing in his raised palm. Xing Yao had silver-white light in both hands. Tai Su warped the space around him. Dark Abyss Star's red eyes locked onto the gate. Chaos Star's muscles went rigid as steel. The countdown hit 0. The gate flashed. A figure stepped out. I stepped out of the tower gate wearing my Sirius Star disguise. Silver hair, wolf totem, the whole look. The moment I appeared, I couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't activate any skills. Shang Xian's control ability, at level 193, pressed down on a level 30 like an elephant stepping on an ant. My brain couldn't even form the thought to use Void Shuttle. I scanned the scene in that frozen instant. 1,000 warriors. 10 level 190 elders. A space lockdown array covering the entire plaza. Sheng Xian right in front of me, golden light in his palm. Then they all attacked at once. 10 strikes from 10 different planets. Gold, silver, gray, black, red, all hit me simultaneously. The explosion was enormous. It shattered the stone floor and sent debris flying. My chest had a hole in it, ribs poking out, left arm broken, right leg barely holding, but I was still standing. My health had dropped to 1. My passive, Stone Body Double, had triggered. It absorbed the killing blow and gave me 1 second of complete invincibility. During that second, all control effects broke. All damage was negated. I had 1 second. I turned and sprinted for the tower gate. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. Sheng Xian screamed to stop me, but it was too late. I dove through the light gate and disappeared inside. 1,000 warriors, 10 of the strongest elders in the universe, a space lockdown array, 10 killing blows, and they failed to kill 1 level 30. Inside the tower, I was a mess. Blood everywhere, clothes destroyed, bones sticking out. Health, 1 out of 6,020 quintillion. Then my regeneration kicked in. 1 second later, full health. Wounds healed, bones mended, arm working, leg steady. Like nothing happened. I was now level 30. My health had jumped to 6,020 quintillion from the level increase. The tower offered me a level 30 passive trial. I picked ability enhancement, effect boost, held difficulty. The reward would be 200% to all ability effects. The trial was a time maze. And here was the key detail. Time inside flowed 100 times faster than outside. 100 seconds inside equaled 1 second outside. That meant 12 hours inside was only about 7 minutes outside. My Stone Body Double had a 12-hour cooldown. If I spent 12 hours in the maze, the skill would be ready again by the time I walked out. They'd be waiting to hit me with everything again, but this time I'd have my life-saving passive ready. The maze itself was easy. Endless guards, level 30, 100 million attack, 100 billion health. They came at me non-stop. 1, then 5, then 10, then hundreds. Didn't matter. 1 punch killed each one. My reflect passive handled everything they threw at me. I found the exit within 20 minutes, but didn't leave. I just sat near the door, killing guards and watching my cooldown timer. 1 hour, 5 hours, 8 hours, 10, 12. I checked my panel. Stone Body Double, cooldown complete. I stepped through the exit. I stepped out of the maze trial with my new passive, ability enhancement at 200%. Combined with my previous 100%, my total multiplier was now 4 trillion times. My health jumped to 12,040 quintillion at level 30. Then I walked through the tower exit. The same thing happened again. The instant I appeared, I was frozen. Couldn't move, couldn't think. Sheng Xian's control hit me before I could form a single thought. They'd learned from last time. No hesitation. 10 attacks, full power, all at once. The explosion was even bigger. My chest had a hole in it again. Bones sticking out. Left arm broken. Health dropped to 1. Stone Body Double triggered again. Outside, the crowd thought I was finished for sure. They figured the skill couldn't possibly have cooled down in just 7 minutes. Normally they'd be right. The cooldown was 12 hours. But I'd spent 12 hours inside the time maze, where time flowed 100 times faster than outside. 7 minutes out here was 12 hours in there. My skill was fully recharged. I had my 1 second of invincibility. Brain unfroze. I thought fast. First, boundary-breaking domain. 10 seconds of ignoring the space lockdown. Second, Void Shuttle. Silver light exploded from my body. Everyone shut their eyes. When they opened them, I was gone. Just a 10-meter deep crater smoking on the ground. 1,000 warriors. 10 level 190 elders. A space lockdown array. 2 rounds of killing blows. and a level 30 walked away. Twice. Sheng Xian's face went white. He screamed that it was impossible. How could my survival skill have recharged? His intelligence chief suddenly remembered that I'd cleared the boundary-breaking rift, whose reward could bypass space lockdowns. He'd forgotten because the rift was so obscure nobody ever bothered with it. Sheng Xian slapped him 100 meters across the plaza. He ordered the lockdown arrays dismantled. Then he walked away. His back was straight, but he looked like he'd aged 10 years. Xing Yao watched him go and whispered that the top 10 planets had lost all their dignity today. And worse, they'd failed to kill me. It would only get harder from here. Beyond the perimeter, tens of millions of spectators stood in silence for a moment. Then someone started laughing. Then another. Then thousands. Then millions. The entire crowd erupted in laughter, not quiet or hidden, but full, roaring, tears streaming down faces laughter. People took photos. Someone said this was a once-in-a-lifetime sight. Another said the whole universe would know by tomorrow. Someone else said it already did. I landed in my room at the Blood Flame Star quarters. My wounds healed in 1 second. 12,040 quintillion health, 100% regeneration per second. Bones mended, holes closed, everything back to normal. I took 2 deep breaths. My heart was racing, but it calmed down quickly. I'd survived. Again, Shuiwei burst through my door again. She'd been watching everything through live streams. People at the first entrance had been broadcasting the whole thing live. She was shaking. She listed everything I'd survived. 10 level 190 warriors, 1,000 level 100 fighters, a space lockdown array, 2 killing blows. When she asked how my survival skill recharged so fast, I explained about the time maze. 100 seconds inside equaled 1 second outside. 12 hours in there, 7 minutes out here. She stared at me, then laughed until she cried and asked if I was even human. Then she showed me her communication stone. I'd gone viral. Livestream titles like Wolf Shadow Tanks 10 190 Elders at Full Power, twice, and survives. Millions of comments calling me the strongest level 30 in history. In the universe, calling me a myth. People saying they wanted to be my fans. The top 10 planets had completely lost face. She told me I was a legend now. Every second-tier planet in existence was talking about me. Apparently, I even had fangirls who could wrap around the entire origin star. Then she handed me a spatial ring from her father, the Blood Flame King. Inside were 2 pieces of equipment, eternal grade, level 30. A dark gold armor adding 200 million health, and a silver ring adding 100 million health plus 2 million attack. She told me her father said I deserved the best. Then she added, bitterly, that she'd begged her father for years to let her wear these when she was level 30, and he'd always refused. Every eternal grade item was a planet-level treasure for Blood Flame Star. And now they were giving them to me. I put them on and checked my panel. Health, 120,040 quintillion. The jump was insane. My base health at level 30 was only 100,000, but the eternal gear added 300 million, which was 3,000 times my base. Then multiply by my 4 trillion times enhancement from both ability boosts. Without these items, I'd only have about 40 quintillion. With them, 120,040 quintillion. Eternal grade equipment was every planet's strategic reserve. They never traded it. Some Awakeners could reach level 150 without ever touching a single piece. Having it made everything, tower climbing, rift clearing, dramatically easier. Shuiwei asked how it felt wearing eternal gear. I told her the boost was frightening. She said that's exactly why her father wouldn't even give it to his own daughter. She asked what I planned to do next. I told her it was Sunday morning, 8:30. My 10 clones still had about 3 hours left before they disappeared. I told her they lasted 1 day. I was going to have them start clearing level 30 rifts before the time ran out. She stared at me with wide eyes. You really don't care about the top 10 planets at all, do you? Shuiwei poked my chest and called me crazy. She said I'd nearly died an hour ago, and now I wanted to clear more rifts? She said it was like rubbing salt in the top planet's wounds. I explained my thinking calmly. My boundary-breaking skill still had an hour left on cooldown, but that didn't matter because I wasn't going anywhere. I'd stay right here in my room. My 10 clones would do the work. My stone body double was still cooling down too. If I personally ran into trouble again, I really wouldn't survive this time. So the clones would go, and I'd lie in bed. She laughed, part frustration, part admiration. She said she almost felt sorry for the top planets. Then she laughed harder. I closed my eyes and sent the order. All 10 clones received it simultaneously. They'd been scattered across the city, some sleeping in rented rooms, some sitting in alleys, some standing on bridges. They all stood up at once, 10 different faces, and started walking toward the teleportation plaza from 10 different directions. On the way, my clones overheard people talking. Everyone assumed Wolf Shadow wouldn't dare show up after this morning's near-death experience. Some were discussing whether Wolf Shadow could actually help Sirius Star become a third-tier planet, something no second-tier planet had achieved in tens of millions of years. People were rooting for me. They wanted to see what a third-tier planet looked like. The clones reached the level 30 rift zone, 200 rifts, all with top planet geniuses holding the records. Without hesitating, 10 clones entered 10 different gates simultaneously. Less than 3 minutes later, 10 leaderboards updated at once. All first place, all Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow, all under 3 minutes. The plaza exploded again. People figured it out fast. Only 10 rifts this time, not 11. That meant Wolf Shadow's main body wasn't here. He'd sent his clones while hiding somewhere safe. He'd been nearly killed by 10 of the strongest elders in existence just an hour ago, and now he was casually breaking records again with his clones. Some people were screaming. Some were laughing. Someone yelled they wanted to have my babies. Someone else pointed out they were male. They said they didn't care. The crowd knew exactly what this was, a slap in the face. The top 10 planets had just deployed their entire might to kill one person and failed, and now that person was right back at it, breaking their records, not even bothering to show up in person. And I was just lying in bed at the Blood Flame Star quarters, eyes closed, controlling everything from a distance. While my clones were clearing level 30 rifts, things were getting interesting at Holy Light Star's headquarters. I found out about this later. Sheng Xian was sitting in his meeting room staring at 10 more leaderboards with my name on them. Less than an hour after they'd nearly killed me, I was back breaking records. He told his people it meant I didn't care about them at all. His intelligence chief, Shen Kong, noticed something important. Only 10 rifts this time, not 11. That meant my main body wasn't there. These were all clones. And the clones had been active for over 20 hours now, which meant either they lasted that long, or my clone skills cooldown was shorter than expected. Either way, it was terrifying. Even if they killed all 10 clones, my real body would be safe somewhere, and I could just make more. Then Sheng Kong raised a bigger question, one that made the whole room go silent. He said Wolf Shadow might not be from Sirius Star at all. He laid out his reasoning. Sirius Star's people had been tortured horribly, the king's limbs broken, the prince shattered, the princess humiliated, hundreds of thousands lying in blood. If Wolf Shadow were truly from Sirius Star, his first reaction should have been rage, rescue attempts, or at least checking on his people. But Wolf Shadow did none of that. He attacked St. Tianjiao once, almost like going through the motions, then went right back to clearing rifts. When Sirius Star's people were being tortured, he didn't react at all. He never showed any real concern for them. All he cared about was getting stronger. Then Shen Kong brought up the fraud maze. Its reward, the Mask of Deception, could change the name and planet displayed on leaderboards. With my record-shattering score, the deception duration could be permanent, meaning Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow, on the leaderboard could be completely fake. Someone from a different planet entirely, disguising themselves as Sirius Star. Someone framing Sirius Star on purpose. Sheng Xian asked who would do that. Shen Kong said Sirius Star had invaded many planets over the past 1,000 years, making lots of enemies. But the biggest, most recent enemy was Blood Flame Star. 10 years ago, Sirius Star killed Blood Flame Star's queen and prince, nearly killed their king, and destroyed their ranking. Sheng Xian said the name slowly. Blood Flame Star. The room went dead quiet. They were finally starting to figure it out. I didn't know about any of this at the time. I was lying in my room while my clones cleared rifts. But I learned later what was happening at Holy Light Star. Shen Kong's suspicion about Blood Flame Star sparked a serious debate. One elder scoffed. How could a trash planet ranked past 1,000 produce a monster like me? They barely had any warriors above level 180. Shen Kong replied that maybe nobody trained me. Maybe I was just born this way. Some talents can't be manufactured. Sheng Xian cut them off. He said it didn't matter who I was or where I came from. I had to die, but before killing me, they needed to know everything. My identity, my origins, my abilities, who was behind me. They couldn't afford to miss again. 2 attempts, 2 failures. A third miss could mean their end. Then Sheng Kong brought up something that made the room go tense. He asked if Sheng Xian was thinking about using that thing, the time retrospection mirror. It could show the past 7 days of a person's life. But the cost was staggering, 1,000 years of the user's lifespan per use. Sheng Xian cleared the room and contacted the Holy Light Emperor directly through a special golden communication stone. Only 3 existed in all of Holy Light Star. The Emperor's golden figure appeared, eyes burning like suns. Sheng Xian knelt and asked permission to use the mirror. He explained his suspicion that Wolf Shadow wasn't from Sirius Star and might be from another planet entirely, possibly even framing Sirius Star on purpose. He needed to know the truth before they could strike with certainty. The Emperor asked his age, 8,700 years old. With a theoretical lifespan limit of 10,000 for a level 193, he had 1,300 years left. Using the mirror would leave him with only 300. Sheng Xian said he knew. He said he'd spent his entire life fighting for Holy Light Star. He'd seen countless geniuses across thousands of years. He'd never seen anything like Wolf Shadow. If this person was allowed to grow, Holy Light Star would be destroyed. He was willing to trade 1,000 years of his life for one chance to find out who I really was. The Emperor was quiet for a long time. Then one word. Granted, he told Sheng Xian the mirror would arrive tomorrow. Use it in secret. Report everything directly to the Emperor before telling anyone else. Sheng Xian asked one more question. Could Holy Light Star really ever reach third-tier status? The Emperor said he didn't know, but if that day came, Sheng Xian would see it. The old man smiled faintly at that. Then he stood up and walked out alone, his footsteps echoing in the empty hallway. His back was straight, but somehow he looked older, like he'd already started spending those 1,000 years. And somewhere in a small room on the east side of the city, I was lying in bed with my eyes closed, sending my clones into one rift after another, completely unaware that someone was about to look into my past. My 10 clones kept clearing rifts like clockwork, 10 at a time, batch after batch. The leaderboards lit up like dominoes, 41 through 50, 51 through 60, 61 through 70, 81 through 90. All Wolf Shadow. The crowd had stopped screaming by now. They just watched in silence, like witnessing something divine. Someone joked it was more addictive than TV dramas. I was lying in bed at the Blood Flame Star quarters, watching all 10 clones through virtual screens in my mind. One was fighting a fire phoenix, another smashing an ice giant, another dodging lightning, another stomping skeletons. Different monsters, same result every time. Monsters die, clone stands. I closed the screens and stared at the ceiling. A thin crack ran across it like a dried-up river. My mind was on what came next. The top planets wouldn't stop. They'd come back with stronger tools, more warriors, nastier tricks. I needed to get stronger before that happened. Strong enough that they couldn't kill me. Strong enough that they wouldn't dare try. I pulled the covers over my head and decided to nap while the clones finished. Meanwhile, Clone 1 was walking between rifts when he noticed something strange. A small, run-down teleportation gate. Only 5 meters tall, 3 meters wide. The runes on the frame were dark and lifeless. Weeds grew around the base. The crystal board above it was completely blank. No first place. No second place. Nothing. Not because it was broken. Because nobody had ever cleared it. Everyone who went in died. Millions of people over tens of millions of years. Not a single person had ever come back out. Nobody knew what was inside, what the rules were, or what the reward was. It was called the realm of world creation. Clone 1 stood there for 3 seconds looking at that blank board. Then he walked in. The moment he stepped through, the crystal board flickered to life for the first time in centuries. A guy nearby dropped his water bottle. Another almost dislocated his jaw mid-yawn. They started screaming. Someone entered the realm of world creation. That rift that's killed millions of people? Someone just walked in. Who? Which planet? Some short, round-faced guy in black clothes. Within minutes, millions of people surrounded that dusty old gate. It had existed for tens of millions of years. Hundreds of millions had entered. 0 had returned. The contents, rules, and rewards were still a complete mystery, and my clone had just strolled in like it was nothing. Outside the gate, millions of people gathered to watch. 7 minutes passed, and nobody came out. They talked about how millions of people had entered this rift over tens of millions of years, and not one had ever returned. They figured whoever went in was dead for sure. Inside, my clone 1 stood in absolute nothingness. Not darkness, not emptiness, true nothing. No light, no ground, no space, no time. His consciousness started dissolving, melting away like ice in boiling water. He bit his tongue hard. The pain brought him back. A voice spoke. Not the usual cold mechanical voice. This one was warm, gentle, almost grandfatherly. Welcome to the realm of world creation. The voice told him something chilling. The reason he was still alive was because he wasn't a real person. He was a clone without a complete soul. The nothingness here devours souls. If my main body had entered, I'd already be dead. Permanently. No revival possible. But a clone's incomplete nature made the devouring process much slower. Then the voice introduced himself. His name was Yuan, from a planet called Celestial Origin Star. He wanted to tell his story. Tens of millions of years ago, his planet was the weakest among all second-tier planets. Resources stolen, talents poached, even their teleportation gate controlled by top-ranked planets who charged outrageous fees. But when Yuan awakened at 18, he broke the rules. His first awakening gave him a 10,000 times multiplier. The normal limit was 200. His second awakening hit the maximum at 200 times. Combined, 2 million times enhancement. His planet poured everything into him. Best equipment, best resources. He didn't disappoint. He went from level 1 to 104 years, cleared nearly 20 rifts at every level, collected every reward he could, then spent 100 years reaching level 200, and another 100 years leading Celestial Origin Star from rank 9,732 all the way to number 1 among all second-tier planets. Number 1. Everyone called him the strongest, the chosen one who would lead them to become a third-tier planet. He believed it too. Then came the challenge. To promote a planet from second to third tier, you fight on a special platform in a separate dimension. Both sides send one level 200 warrior. You win, your planet rises. You lose, you die. His opponent was a young man from the lowest-ranked third-tier planet. Same level, 200. Fair rules. But the difference in power was devastating. Yuan had 2 awakenings, 10,000 times and 200 times. Total, 2 million times. His opponent had 3 awakenings, each at the 200 times limit. Total, 8 million times. 4 times stronger than Yuan. And his equipment was immortal grade, 1 tier above the best eternal grade gear Yuan could get. The real gap was about 40 times. Yuan's voice trembled as he told this part. He laughed, a bitter, self-mocking laugh. 1 punch. Just 1 punch. I didn't even see him move. Yuan continued his story. He told my clone how the fight ended. 3 seconds, 1 punch, a hole in his chest. His opponent looked at him like an ant, said, "Trash," and walked away. Yuan never even saw his face clearly because the man never looked at him properly. Yuan died. But his body was pulled into Origin Star and became a rift, the realm of world creation. His obsession with helping a second-tier planet reach third tier became the challenge inside. He explained how it worked. Every person who'd entered over tens of millions of years was tested with the same thing, a simulated fight against a level 30 third-tier planet warrior. This warrior had 8 million times enhancement and immortal-grade equipment, 1 tier above eternal. To win, you needed at least 80 million times enhancement with eternal-grade gear. That requirement sounded insane. But Yuan said it was the minimum needed to have any chance of actually challenging a third-tier planet for real. I did the math in my head. I had 4 trillion times enhancement. That was 50,000 times more than the 80 million minimum. This simulated warrior had 1/50,000th of my power. The challenge began. A platform floating in void. Across from my clone stood a silver-haired young man in dark gold immortal-grade armor, golden vertical pupils, 8 million times enhancement. He called me an ant and attacked. Lightning fast, full power, 1 punch to my chest. The damage number showed 1.2 quintillion. My reflect bounced it right back. He looked down at his cracked fist in confusion. I punched him back. 1,200.4 quintillion damage. His body exploded into light particles and scattered into nothing. Yuan was silent for 3 seconds. Then he laughed, soft, light, with something in his voice I couldn't quite describe. Relief. Release. Like a weight he'd carried for tens of millions of years finally lifting. Good. 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 He said I was the first person to win in all those tens of millions of years. He said I had the ability to lead a second-tier planet to third tier. He said if I challenged a third-tier planet for real, I would win. Then came the reward. A smooth, round, palm-sized stone materialized from gray light. No color, no markings, cold as ice. The boundary stone, Yuan explained. It could sever a planet's connection to the rest of the universe. The targeted planet would become invisible and unreachable. No sensing it, no teleporting there, no locating it by any means. But the people inside would also be trapped, unable to leave or contact the outside. Complete isolation. Both ways. I asked if it could be undone. Yuan said it required a special item to reverse, but he didn't know what that item was or where to find it. He told me to use it carefully. I stored it in my spatial ring. Then Yuan said something that stuck with me. He said I was truly strong. Maybe strong enough to not just lead a planet to third tier, but to one day meet God. Outside the realm of World Creation Gate, millions of people were watching. When the gate flashed bright after about 20 minutes, but nobody visibly walked out, they were confused. Then someone noticed the crystal board, the one that had been blank for tens of millions of years, was lit up. First place, Sirius Star, Wolf Shadow, 19 minutes 47 seconds. The crowd went silent. Again, the same name. The man who'd painted every level 20 leaderboard his color survived 2 assassination attempts by 10 level 190 elders, and now cleared a rift that had killed millions over tens of millions of years. Nobody had ever come out alive. He did it in under 20 minutes. At Holy Light Star's headquarters, Sheng Xian just stared at the board. He didn't yell this time. He simply said to wait. Tomorrow, the time retrospection mirror would arrive. He'd finally find out who I really was. Back in my room, I was drinking tea. My clone had used Void Shuttle to teleport out the moment the gate flashed, so nobody saw him leave. I looked at my new item, the Boundary Stone. It could permanently sever a planet from the rest of the universe. Invisible, unreachable, sealed off completely. I wanted to use it on Blue Star someday, to protect it from powerful enemies. But the stone needed to physically be on the planet to work. I'd figure that out later. I told Clone 1 he did great, then ordered all 10 clones to keep grinding. 200 level 30 rifts. Hit them all. Finish within 90 minutes. They went to work like machines. 10 rifts at a time, under 3 minutes each, 5 minutes per batch, including travel. The leaderboards flipped one after another. The crowd in the plaza had gone completely numb. People brought folding chairs and snacks, watching the boards like a TV show. Someone joked I must be God's illegitimate son out on a training trip. 1 hour, 120 rifts done. Another half hour, all 200. Every single level 30 rift. First place, Wolf Shadow. Pure wall of one name from top to bottom, just like level 20. Millions of people laughed when it was over. Not nervous laughter. Full, roaring laughter. They said the top planets couldn't even do anything about it. Their dignity wasn't just lost, it was crushed, stomped on, and spat on. My clones scattered back to their hiding spots across the city. I lay in bed scrolling through my rewards. 200 rifts gave me 197 skills, mostly useless stuff I'd save as fuel for upgrading later, plus 3 items, including the Boundary Stone. Then I found something interesting. Skill number 187. Soul Storage, a unique passive. It opens a private storage space inside my soul. Can hold anything except living things. Size depends on soul strength. Storing and retrieving items is instant. I found the soul storage skill incredibly useful. It created a private space inside my soul for storing anything except living things. Since every clone shared my soul, they could all access the same storage. I immediately tested it, put the Boundary Stone in, then had my clone on Blue Star pull it out. Worked perfectly. It was like a shared locker between all of me. I also got 2 more items from the level 30 rifts. Another Heaven Tower card, grade 4 this time, letting me clear continuously from floor 30 to floor 39. That meant jumping straight to level 40 next Sunday, saving another 9 weeks. And a Soul Expansion Stone, a one-time use item that permanently strengthened my soul. I crushed it. Cold golden light poured into my chest. My soul storage space jumped from 1,000 cubic meters to 1 million. 1,000,000 cubic meters, 1,000 times bigger than my spatial ring. I moved everything into it. Instant access. Just think and it appears. With nothing left to upgrade for now, I decided to rest and read up on how second-tier planets actually worked. I'd been grinding non-stop and hadn't taken a moment to understand this world. What I didn't know was that at 3 in the morning on Monday, Sheng Xian was sitting alone in a dark room with the time retrospection mirror floating in front of him. A palm-sized silver mirror with fog swirling inside. He pressed his hand against it and spoke. With 1,000 years of my life as the price, traced the target. Wolf Shadow. The fog churned and images began forming. The first thing that appeared wasn't the silver-haired Wolf Shadow face. It was my real face. A 17-year-old kid with black hair and dark eyes. Then the mirror showed my second awakening, standing before a Star Source Stone. The system voice announcing my name, Su Lin. My ability, Life Sovereign, 10,000 times health enhancement, beyond evaluation range. Attack carrying 1% of maximum health as damage. Sheng Xian's hands were shaking. Not from fear, from shock. 10,000 times enhancement on the second awakening. In his 8,700 years of life, he'd never seen it. It only existed in ancient history. Then the mirror showed something else. Me standing in a room with Shui Wei, Blood Flame Star's princess. Her wearing that red nightgown. Her asking me to have a child with her. Her mentioning that I was in a state of servitude to her. Sheng Xian's eyes narrowed. Servitude. I was being controlled. He now knew 3 things. My real name was Su Lin. I was connected to Blood Flame Star. And Shui Wei was behind everything. The secret was out. I didn't know any of this was happening. I was asleep in my room while Sheng Xian watched my entire life through that mirror. He saw everything. My real face, a 17-year-old kid with black hair. My name, Su Lin. My first awakening with its billion times multiplier. My second awakening with its 10,000 times multiplier. Total enhancement, for trillion times. He'd lived 8,700 years and never seen anything like it. He saw Shui Wei in her red nightgown asking me to have a child. He heard her mention that I was in a state of servitude to her. He heard her say she was using me to destroy Sirius Star and avenge her mother. That was the moment everything clicked for him. He didn't need to kill me. He just needed to kill Shui Wei. If the master dies, the slave dies with her. All my clones, my survival skills, my teleportation, my impossible stats, none of it mattered. Kill one level 60 princess, and I'd be gone. He contacted the Holy Light Emperor immediately. Told him everything. My real identity, my abilities, the 4 trillion times enhancement, and the servitude link to Shui Wei. The Emperor was stunned. He considered whether to capture Shui Wei instead and use her to control me. Force me to help Holy Light Star reach 3rd tier status. But he decided against it. Too many variables. Someone like me was too unpredictable to control. And if other planets found out Holy Light Star had me on a leash, they'd all come after them. Too risky. The order was simple. Kill Shui Wei. Don't capture, don't negotiate. Just kill her. The Emperor also ordered absolute secrecy. If the other 9 top planets learned about the servitude link, they'd race to kidnap Shui Wei themselves. Whoever controlled her controlled me. They might not kill me. They might try to use me to promote their own planet to 3rd tier. That couldn't be allowed. So only 2 people in the universe knew my secret. Sheng Xian and the Holy Light Emperor. Sheng Xian was ordered to go to the Blood Flame Star quarters personally. Find Shui Wei. Kill her. Make it clean. Leave no trace. He walked out of the room as dawn broke. His footsteps echoed in the empty hallway. He looked even more hunched than before. And I was just sleeping, completely unaware that someone was coming to kill the one person whose death meant mine. 3 in the morning. I was asleep in my room at the Blood Flame Star quarters. I didn't hear anything. Didn't feel anything. Not at first. Then pain hit me like a bomb going off inside my skull. Not normal pain. My soul was being ripped apart. Like a red-hot knife shoved through my temples and twisted. Like a million ants chewing on my consciousness one bite at a time. I heard a cold mechanical voice in my head. Warning, enslaver has died. Soul enslavement crystal, triggering backlash. Countdown, 3, 2, 1. Then my consciousness exploded. Shattered into pieces. Everything went dark. I was dead. My main body's heart stopped. Breathing stopped. Body went cold. Shui Wei was dead too. Sheng Xian had snuck into her room while she slept. Level 193 against level 60. She opened her eyes and saw him standing over her bed. She tried to scream, but couldn't. One strike to the chest. Silent. Clean. Her eyes went wide. Then the light in them went out. He'd figured it all out from the time retrospection mirror. My real identity, my connection to Shui Wei, the enslavement link. Kill the master, kill the slave. He didn't need to fight through my clones, my survival skills, my teleportation. Just one sleeping girl. My consciousness floated in darkness. Fragments of my awareness drifting in nothing. No direction, no anchor. Then I heard the system voice again. Main body has died. Twin body skill triggered. Current available clones, 11. Please select a clone to become the new main body. My shattered awareness pulled itself back together like pieces of a broken mirror reassembling. I couldn't pick the Blue Star clone. I needed to stay on Origin Star to keep growing. I chose Clone 1 in Origin City. I woke up gasping in a rundown rental room on the east side of the city. Wooden bed, crooked table, broken chair. I was drenched in sweat, hands shaking. Not from fear, just the aftershock of my soul being ripped apart and stitched back together. I checked my panel. I was now the main body. Level 30, health 120,040 quintillion. Twin body on cooldown for 30 days. Shadow clone on cooldown for nearly 6 days. But stone body double was ready. My old main body was dead. Shuewei was dead. I stood at the window looking out at the gray sky before dawn. The teleportation plaza lights blinked in the distance. I knew exactly what happened. Holy Light Star found out. They discovered Shuewei, discovered me, discovered the enslavement link. So they killed her instead of me. It was the smartest move. Killing a level 60 girl in her sleep was 1,000,000 times easier than trying to catch me. But they didn't know about my clones. They didn't know that when my main body dies, a clone becomes the new main body. They thought killing Shuewei meant killing me. They were wrong. I was still alive. While I was processing everything, Shang Xian was checking my old body at the Blood Flame Star quarters. He found Shuewei dead in her room, eyes still open. He closed them. Then he went to my room, found my body. No pulse, no heartbeat, no breathing, skin already cold. He used a special stone to verify death. It glowed dark red, confirmed dead. He said something quiet about wishing I'd been born on Holy Light Star, then stored my corpse in his spatial ring and left. He thought it was over. But I was already awake in Clone One's body across the city, and the first thing I thought about was Blue Star. If Holy Light Star found out about me through that mirror, they might have seen Blue Star too. They might go there to destroy everyone connected to me. What they did to Sirius Star was bad enough. What they do to a defenseless first-tier planet would be 100 times worse. I couldn't take that risk. I shifted my consciousness to my Blue Star clone in Dark Knight City. I pulled the boundary stone from my soul storage. That smooth, cold, colorless rock. I knelt down and pressed it against the ground. The moment it touched the floor, cold spread outward from my palm, like mercury seeping through cracks. Gray-white lines appeared on the ground, like roots, like veins, spreading in every direction. The lines glowed faintly and kept expanding. Through Dark Knight City, through the underground city, up to the surface, across the wastelands, over the oceans, into the sky. The entire planet was covered in that pale light. People on the streets panicked. They saw the glow, thought it was a rift, started running. But it wasn't dangerous. It just felt cold under their feet. After about 30 minutes, all the light vanished at once. The stone crumbled to dust in my hand. Blue Star was now completely cut off from the universe. No teleportation gates could reach it. No one could locate it. People inside couldn't leave. People outside couldn't enter. Until I found the special item to reverse it, Blue Star was invisible. I shifted my consciousness back to Origin Star. Sitting in my rental room, I thought through my situation. Holy Light Star believed I was dead. They killed Shuewei. My old body died from the backlash. They verified the corpse. To them, Wolf Shadow was gone forever. That was my advantage. If they thought I was dead, they'd stop hunting me. But I couldn't blow my cover by clearing more rifts on Origin Star. Any record-breaking performance would immediately tell them I was still alive. So no more rift clearing here. Instead, I'd use Blue Star. It was sealed off. Nothing that happened there could be detected from outside. I could clear rifts, climb the tower, level up in complete secrecy. At least until level 100. There was one more problem. Shang Xian had seen my real face through the mirror. I had 10 clones on Origin Star, but only one had the 1,000 illusion mask that could fool level 200 warriors. The other 9 only had the passive illusion form skill, which could only fool up to level 130. There were plenty of warriors above 130 on Origin Star. If any of my clones got spotted and their disguise was seen through, they'd know I was alive. I needed to find a way to upgrade my illusion form passive to fool higher levels. That was the next priority. I spent the morning upgrading my illusion form passive. I used the Forge Stone to melt down 71 useless skills one by one, feeding each into the disguise ability. Each upgrade only added 1 level of deception, from 100 levels above me to 101, then 102, 103, all the way up to 171. At that point, even at level 30, I could fool anyone up to level 200. The system told me 200 was the hard cap. No matter how much I upgraded, it couldn't go higher. Good enough for now. That used up 71 of my stored skills, leaving me 325 for future upgrades. Around noon, every public crystal screen across Origin Star lit up at the same time. Shang Xian stood on a platform in golden robes and made an announcement. Wolf Shadow is dead. He told everyone everything. My real name, Su Lin. My real face. They showed a photo, the 17-year-old kid with black hair. He said I was from a first-tier planet called Blue Star. 2 awakenings, both beyond the rules. He explained that Blood Flame Star's Princess Shui Wei had enslaved me with a soul crystal and forced me to impersonate a Sirius Star warrior. The whole plan, framing Sirius Star, using the top planets as weapons to destroy them. It was all Shui Wei's revenge for what happened 10 years ago. Then he said Blood Flame Star had been destroyed. The screen showed ruins, the palace in rubble, bodies in blood, everything burned. The Blood Flame King was dead. The entire royal family wiped out. All high-ranking officials eliminated. He said Shui Wei was dead, and because of the enslavement link, I died with her. The crowd went silent. Millions of people just standing there, staring at nothing. Some whispered that Sirius Star had been innocent all along, tortured and humiliated for something they didn't do. Some said I'd been a victim too, enslaved against my will. Others pointed out that even enslaved, I'd still broken every record, survived 10 level 190 warriors twice, and cleared rifts nobody had touched in millions of years. If I'd been free, nobody finished that thought. People started comparing me to a firework, the brightest flash, then gone. Some called it tragic. Some called it a waste. 2 beyond the rules awakenings, dead from a slave contract backlash. The screens went dark. The crowd slowly started to leave. They all thought I was dead. I was sitting in a rental room across the city, watching through my clone's eyes, very much alive. My disguise could now fool anyone up to level 200. Nobody on Origin Star could see through me. And on Blue Star, sealed off from the universe, my other clone was ready to start grinding in secret. They thought the story was over. It was just beginning. It was time to go back to Blue Star. I shifted my consciousness from Origin Star to my Blue Star clone in Dark Knight City. Changed my face back to my real one. Black hair, dark eyes, 17 years old. I checked out of the rental room and headed to the east gate of the city. I pulled my silver flying craft out of soul storage, climbed in, and set my destination, Dragon City War Academy. 1,800 kilometers, about an hour and a half. As I flew, I thought about how much had changed in just over a week. When I left, I was a level 10 nobody running from Shui Wei. Now I was level 30 with 120,000 quintillion health, 10 permanent clones, and the ability to fool any warrior up to level 200. Blue Star was sealed. Nobody from outside could find it or enter. The people who wanted me dead thought I was already in the ground. I could walk around freely now. No disguises needed. No one chasing me. When I circled over the academy, I could see everyone on the training field. They were all staring at the ground, at the gray-white patterns left behind from the boundary stone. The lines had stopped glowing, but they were still etched into the ground everywhere, like glass veins running through the stone. Nobody knew what they were. I spotted my classmates. Yin Yin was crouching on the ground, poking the lines. Han Bing was squatting next to her, looking confused. Ing Rin was leaning against a pillar with his eyes closed. Lin Yu was standing at the edge, looking up at the sky. And Wang Shiqing, she was still here. She'd apparently refused to leave the academy after I disappeared and talked old Zhang into giving her a room. I landed the craft on the training field. Everyone turned to look. The moment the door opened and I stepped out, the whole place went dead silent. Then Yin Yin sprinted at me so fast, she nearly lost her shoes. She crashed into me with a hug, fist pounding my chest. "You jerk, you actually came back." She was crying and laughing at the same time. She said they'd been worried sick for over a week. No calls answered, no messages replied, completely vanished. I patted her back. "I'm fine now." Han Bing ran over too, eyes red, standing nearby with a dopey smile, repeating, "Glad you're back," over and over. Ingrin walked up and just silently put his hand on my shoulder. Lin Yu stood in the back. She didn't come closer. When I looked at her, she simply said, "Welcome back." Then Wang Shiqing shoved through the crowd and planted herself in front of me. Yellow dress, curled hair, full makeup, and absolutely furious. "You think you can just disappear for a week? I came here every single day waiting for you. Old Zhang is sick of me." She punched my chest. "Next time you pull this, you're buying dinner at the Yulu again." I said okay. She blinked, then smiled. A real, bright smile. I looked around at all of them. This was why I'd sealed Blue Star. These people, this place, it needed to be protected. And now it was. Everyone at the academy was staring at me when I got back. Old Zhang pushed through the crowd in his wrinkled uniform, looked me up and down, and said, "Alive?" I said yes. He said good. Coach Lei came over too. Didn't say much, just shook my hand, hard, and told me welcome back. Wang Shiqing was arguing with old Zhang about how she'd been camping at the academy for a week waiting for me. Apparently, she'd been climbing the walls to get in, and old Zhang had security chase her out. She didn't care. Then she pointed at the gray-white lines on the ground and asked if I made them. Everyone went quiet, waiting for my answer. Yes, I said. I did. The whole place erupted. Old Zhang told everyone to calm down and took us to the top-floor meeting room. Just 7 of us. Me, Yin Yin, Han Bing, Ingrun, Lin Yu, Wang Shiqing, and Old Zhang. Coach Lei stood guard at the door. I told them everything. I said I'd been to a second-tier planet. That above our blue star, which was first tier, there were second and third-tier planets. A princess from Blood Flame, star named Shui Wei, had enslaved me with a soul crystal and taken me there because of my talent. Yin Yan's face changed when she heard enslaved. Wang Shiqing jumped up and said she'd kill Shui Wei. I told her Shui Wei was already dead, killed by Holy Light Star, the top-ranked second-tier planet. They discovered my identity in the enslavement link. When Shui Wei died, my soul was torn apart, and I died too. Yin Yin started crying. You died? Then how are you standing here? I explained my twin body skill. When my main body dies, I can revive through a clone. Then old Zhang asked about the lines on the ground. I told him about the boundary stone. I'd used it to seal Blue Star from the rest of the universe. No one from outside could find us, locate us, or enter. Nobody from inside could leave either. It was permanent. I explained why. Holy Light Star knew I came from a first-tier planet. If they found Blue Star's coordinates, they'd do to us what they did to Sirius Star, or worse. I couldn't take that risk. Old Zhang was quiet for a moment. Then he said I made the right call. We didn't even know second-tier planets existed. There was nothing to discuss. He would have done the same thing. Yin Yin wiped her tears and asked if I was staying. I told them this clone of mine would stay on Blue Star permanently, and I asked everyone to keep all of this secret. It was too big to let spread. They all agreed at once. 2 years passed. I could have reached level 150 days. But I didn't rush. I needed time. Time for the second-tier planets to forget about me, and time to build up the people around me. I spent the first 130 days waiting for Yin Yin and the others to reach level 30. Then I started bringing them along. Every Sunday, I'd form a group of 100 people and enter the Heaven Tower. The routine was always the same. I'd taunt all the monsters. They'd swarm me. I'd use blood sacrifice. Everything died. My teammates just had to stand there. In and out in under a minute. 1 floor per week. Never missed a single Sunday. For 2 years straight. Today was the day. Floor 99. 100 people lined up in neat rows at the tower entrance. Everyone was level 99 now. Yin Yin, Han Bing, Ingrun, Lin Yu, Wang Shiqing, Old Zhang, Coach Lei, General Zhan, and dozens more. 100 level 99 warriors. Something unthinkable 2 years ago when the strongest person on Blue Star was level 90. I'd built all of this. Inside the tower, floor 99 had 100 world-ending dragons coiled around a mountain. Each one enormous. Black scales the size of doors, golden slit pupil eyes, 1 quintillion health, attacks in the thousands of trillions. Their death skill was a self-destruct worth 10 quintillion damage. General Zhan stepped forward and said he couldn't tank it. Old Zhang said the same. I told them to just stand there. I activated my taunt. All 100 dragons went berserk. One bit me, thousands of trillions in damage, bounced right back, broke its own tooth. Then I used blood sacrifice. All 100 dragons evaporated instantly, dead before they could even trigger their self-destruct. 47 seconds. Floor cleared. Level 100. I went back in alone for my passive trial. Took held difficulty again. Ability enhancement, 9 times multiplier. Combined with all my previous boosts from level 20 through 100, my total multiplier was now 46 trillion times. I checked my panel. Level 100. Health. For 1,601,380,000 quintillion. Attack carrying 1% of max health as damage. Over 1,500 skills stored for future fusion. From level 20's trials through level 100, I'd always chosen held difficulty ability enhancement. Each one stacked. 1x at level 20, 2x at 30, 3x at 40, all the way to 9x at 100. Total, 46 times multiplier on top of my billion times and 10,000 times awakenings. Final number, 46 trillion. Blue Star had nothing left to offer me. No more rifts at my level, no more tower floors to climb here. It was time to go back to Origin Star and start the next phase. 2 years had passed since everyone thought I was dead. During those 2 years, I'd been busy. Every 7 days, I split 10 new permanent clones. After 2 years, I had over 1,000. I scattered them all across Origin City, working as waiters, street vendors, bodyguards, or just sitting in corners watching. 1,000 people, 1,000 pairs of eyes, collecting information every single day. Who had grudges with whom? Which planets were recruiting? Which geniuses had recently leveled up? Everything got recorded and sent back to me. For the first few months, people still talked about Wolf Shadow. They'd say it was a shame, what a waste of talent. Then the mentions got fewer and fewer. Now, nobody mentioned the name at all. Wolf Shadow had sunk like a stone in the ocean. Exactly what I wanted. Over 2 years, I built a detailed list of every top genius at level 100 or below across all second-tier planets. Names, abilities, personalities, weaknesses, daily routines, how many guards they had, what routes they walked, everything. One name sat at the top, Sheng Yuan, the 9th Prince of Holy Light Star. Level 100. His ability was health amplification, similar type to mine. He was a loner who hated socializing and spent all his time reading or training. Most importantly, his personality was easy to imitate. He'd just hit level 100 and hadn't awakened his divine gift yet. That was the key. At level 100, you stop leveling through the Heaven Tower. Instead, you absorb divine power. How fast you absorb depends on 3 things: your divine gift talent, ranked from common to God tier, your cultivation technique, and your resources. As a prince of the #1 planet, Sheng Yuan would get the best awakening ceremony, the best technique, and the best resources. If I became him, all of that would be mine. I watched from a distance as Sheng Yuan left the Holy Light Star quarters with his old guardian, a level 170 warrior called Uncle Zhong. They got into a black hover car and headed toward their private teleportation gate to return to Holy Light Star. Inside the car, Uncle Zhong was telling Sheng Yuan about the awakening ceremony waiting for him. The Star Lord had prepared the finest awakening array, the best star source stones, and 3 elders as protectors. Sheng Yuan asked Uncle Zhong what level Wolf Shadow would have awakened at if he'd lived. Uncle Zhong said he didn't know, but probably nothing low, maybe even God tier. I needed to kill Sheng Yuan before he entered that teleportation gate. Once he reached Holy Light Star's palace, it would be nearly impossible. But Uncle Zhong at level 170 was a problem. I couldn't damage him at my current level. So I sent the order. Over 100 of my clones who'd been planted near the Holy Light Star quarters launched a sudden coordinated attack on the building. Not to win, just to make noise, cause chaos, force a response. Then Uncle Zhong's communication stone lit up. Uncle Zhong, the quarters are under attack. Intruders inside. Uncle Zhong's face went white when he got the call. The Holy Light Star quarters were under attack. Over 100 intruders in black. That was my clones doing their job. Sheng Yuan told Uncle Zhong to go handle it. He said he'd walk to the teleportation gate alone. Uncle Zhong hesitated, but left. He knew this kid never changed his mind once it was set. I watched the hover car fly away. Then I moved. I was waiting around the corner, 200 meters from the gate. Just standing there in a black jacket, ordinary face, hands at my sides. Sheng Yuan turned the corner and stopped. He looked at me. I could see it in his eyes. He sensed something was off. Who are you? Su Lin. His pupils shrank. He knew the name. Wolf Shadow. The dead man. Impossible, you died. Elder Sheng Xian verified your body personally. That was my body, I said. But not me. He reached for his spatial ring to pull out a weapon. But I was faster. Much faster. One strike. A hole in his chest the size of a fist. Blood pouring out. He looked down at it, then looked back up at me. Shock, disbelief, frustration, all in those golden eyes. He dropped to his knees, then fell forward. I crouched beside him and activated my eyes of rebirth on his forehead. 22 years of memories flooded into my mind like a movie playing at high speed. Everything. His birth, his first awakening at 200 times, his second at 200 times, his daily routines, his habits, his fears, what he ate, how he walked, how he talked. All of it was mine now. I looked at his body. Through his memories, I knew he wasn't a bad person. Just quiet, hardworking, pure. But he was Holy Light Star royalty. The same people who killed Shui Wei. The same people who destroyed Blood Flame Star. Sorry, I said. Then I stored his body in my soul storage and put on his equipment. I transformed. Silver white hair, golden vertical pupils, taller frame, broader shoulders. A golden sun mark appeared on my forehead. Holy Light Star's emblem. I looked exactly like Sheng Yuan. I walked to the teleportation gate. 2 level 100 guards saw me and bowed. 9th Prince. I nodded and stepped through. On the other side, Holy Light Star. A massive golden palace, hundreds of meters tall. Crystal stars embedded in the ceiling, gold floors polished like mirrors. A level 180 attendant was waiting. Ninth Prince, the Star Lord is expecting you in his study. I walked through the long corridors. Guards bowed at every turn. I nodded at each one, just like Xing Yuan would. I pushed open the golden door to the study. The Holy Light Emperor stood at the window. Over 2 meters tall, golden robes, long hair. He turned around and looked at me with those sun-burning golden eyes. "Father," I said in Xing Yuan's voice. He studied me for 3 seconds, then smiled. "Come sit." He told me the awakening ceremony was ready. The best array, the best star source stones, 3 elders as protectors. The day after tomorrow, I'd enter the awakening array for my divine gift. Then he mentioned one more thing. My 8th brother, Saint Tianjiao, the one I'd punched through 4 walls 2 years ago, was also level 100 now. He'd be back tomorrow. We'd awaken together. "You're both Holy Light Star's greatest hopes," the Emperor said. "I pray you both receive excellent talents." I stood up and said, "Yes." Then I walked out. The hallway was empty. My footsteps echoed on the golden floor. 2 days until the awakening. Until then, I couldn't make a single mistake. Holy Light Star's sky was golden, like someone hung a thin veil across the heavens with light shining through it. Everything had an amber glow. I stood at a window in the palace corridor, going through my plan. The awakening ceremony was in 2 days. My disguise could fool anyone up to level 200. The Holy Light Emperor was level 199. I was safe, barely, but I couldn't relax. Xing Yuan grew up in this palace. Every person, every hallway, every conversation was a chance to slip up. The only reason I could pull this off was the eyes of rebirth. I had all 22 years of his memories. Every name, every face, every relationship, it was all in my head. A maid came running up. "Ninth Prince, Lady Hua wishes to see you." Lady Hua. Xing Yuan's mother. From his memories, I knew her story. She came from a minor noble family, entered the palace at 18, had Xing Yuan at 19. She was 42 now, but looked 30. She wasn't the Empress. The Empress was from the most powerful family on Holy Light Star, mother to the 1st Prince, the 8th Prince Saint Tianjiao, and the 5th Princess. Lady Hua had no powerful family backing her. She kept her head down, stayed quiet, never fought for attention. The only thing she cared about was her son. I walked through 3 corridors, 2 gardens, and across a stone bridge to reach her palace. It was small but elegant, and smelled faintly of orchids. She was sitting by the window drinking tea. When she saw me, she smiled. Warm, natural, genuine. "You're here." Something stirred inside me. In Xing Yuan's memories, this woman truly loved him. Stayed up all night when he had fevers as a child. Bandaged his training wounds herself. Stood trembling outside the door during his first awakening. "Mother," I said in his voice. She looked me over. "You've gotten thinner." She asked if the food on Origin Star was bad, scolded Uncle Zhong for not bringing me enough to eat, then remembered I used to love her osmanthus cake as a child. "I still do," I said. She paused, surprised, then smiled until her eyes curved into crescents. She immediately sent a maid to have the kitchen make some. She asked if I was nervous about the awakening. I said no. She told me not to put pressure on myself. Whatever talent level I got would be fine. Then she mentioned that my 8th brother, Saint Tianjiao, was coming back tomorrow. He was level 102 and would awaken at the same ceremony. She warned me he'd try to compete with me, like he always had. He was the Empress's son. We couldn't win against that. "I know," I said. She looked at me with sad eyes. This was a mother who'd spent 22 years protecting her son in a palace where they had no real power. The osmanthus cake arrived. She handed me a piece. I bit into it, sweet, fragrant, melting on the tongue. "Good?" she asked. "Good." She smiled again, those crescent moon eyes. "Then eat more." I sat there eating cake with a dead man's mother, wearing a dead man's face, and for a moment I almost forgot what I was really there to do. I ate osmanthus cake, while Lady Hua watched me with those warm, crescent moon eyes. She noticed something different about me, said I was quieter than before, like a mountain. I told her I'd just grown up. She mentioned that after the awakening, my father might arrange a marriage for me, a girl from the Ouyang family, the Empress's clan. She said she didn't want me getting tangled in palace politics, but some things couldn't be avoided. She asked if I had anyone I liked. I said no. She seemed relieved. No attachments meant nobody could use them against me. Then she told me something that stayed with me. She said she'd never been able to give her son wealth or power or connections. She couldn't even protect him from being bullied in the palace. But no matter what happened at the awakening, he was her son. That would never change. I looked at her. The faint wrinkles, the silver strands in her hair, the calluses on her fingers from old needlework. This woman had spent 22 years loving someone I'd killed. I know, I said. The next morning, St. Tianjiao arrived. Golden hover car, golden armor, 20 level 150 guards trailing behind him. Big entrance. He spotted me watching from my window across the courtyard. We locked eyes for a moment. He smirked, then walked away. An hour later, he sent a maid to summon me to the training grounds. He wanted to spar. Everyone knew what this really was. He'd always dominated Sheng Yuan in fights growing up. This was his welcome back power move. I went. He stood in the center of the arena, arms crossed, chin up. Long time no see, ninth brother. He asked me to spar. In Sheng Yuan's memories, the real Sheng Yuan would have tried to dodge this situation. But I said yes. Immediately. That surprised him. He came at me swinging, golden light on his fists, full speed. I dodged everything. Punch after punch, he couldn't touch me. His face darkened. All you do is dodge? You done? I asked. Then I threw one punch. Right in his chest. He flew backward, skidded across the stone floor, and stopped 10 meters away. Chest dented in, blood at his mouth. The whole arena went silent. I held back enormously. Full power would have killed him instantly. He staggered to his feet, staring at me in disbelief. Since when are you this strong? These past few years, I said. He left without another word, except one line over his shoulder. Tomorrow at the awakening, I won't lose to you. I went to Lady Hua's palace. She'd already heard. She asked if I was hurt. I shook my head. She asked about St. Tianjiao. Carried away, I said. She laughed softly. You never used to beat him. That was before. She looked at me with those complicated eyes. You've really grown up, haven't you? The next morning, awakening day, Lady Hua came to my room before dawn and dressed me in the white ceremonial robes herself. She buttoned each one slowly. Her fingers were trembling. Don't worry, I told her. I'm not worried, she said. But her eyes were red. She stepped back and looked me over. Handsome. Then we walked to the awakening hall, a black palace at the deepest part of the grounds, standing dark among all the gold. A crowd was already gathered outside. The awakening ceremony was held before dawn at a black palace deep inside the royal grounds. Everyone important was there, the Holy Light Emperor in golden ceremonial robes, the Empress in red with her phoenix crown, St. Tianjiao in white beside her, Lady Hua standing quietly at the edge in a simple purple dress. The otherwise whispered that Lady Hua's son would get a royal tier talent at best. Bad bloodline, they said. Lady Hua heard them, but didn't react. She just stared at the door. St. Tianjiao went first. He walked into the awakening array and golden light wrapped around him. 30 seconds later, a golden eye appeared on his forehead. The grand priest fell to his knees. Holy tier. The 8th prince has awakened a holy tier talent. The empress was glowing. Holy light, Star hadn't seen a holy tier in 300 years. St. Tianjiao walked out with his chin even higher than usual, stopped in front of me, and smirked. Your turn, 9th brother. I stepped into the array. The star source stone's energy poured into me. I could feel something growing inside, like a seed cracking open. The system voice started up in my head, generating talent, generating. Then my passive kicked in. Fate's favor. The invisible hand that always tilts probability in my favor. The system stuttered. Warning, unknown interference detected. Talent result regenerating. Result, God tier talent. Confirm? I took a deep breath. Confirm. The array exploded with light. Not dimming, erupting. Golden light blasted out like a volcano. The entire hall shook. The grand priest stumbled backward and nearly fell. On my forehead, a mark appeared. Not a sun, not an eye. A 5-pointed star, golden, radiating light so bright the whole palace turned gold. The grand priest's legs gave out. He collapsed to his knees. God tier, his voice was shaking. The Holy Light Emperor rushed into the hall. He stared at me with those burning golden eyes, shock, excitement, something beyond words. He'd lived over 10,000 years. He'd seen Holy Tier. He'd seen Royal Tier. God Tier existed only in legends. The founding Star Lord of Holy Light Star had been the last one, and that was nearly 1,000,000 years ago. Good. He clapped my shoulder. You are Holy Light Star's first God Tier in 1,000,000 years. From today, you are Holy Light Star's future. The Empress's face went white as paper. Her nails dug into her palms until they bled. She couldn't understand how this was possible. Saint Tianjiao stood beside her with his head down. Holy tear, 300 years in the making, and he'd been so proud of it 5 minutes ago. Now his younger brother had God tier. He'd lost completely. Lady Hua walked through the crowd toward me. Her eyes were red, her lips trembling. "You honor," I looked down at her. "Mother," she reached up and gently touched the star on my forehead. Her fingertip was shaking. "Does it hurt?" I shook my head. She smiled, tears running down her face. "Good, good, good," she said 3 goods, too, just like the Emperor. But hers meant something completely different. After the awakening, the Holy Light Emperor ordered everyone to keep my God tier talent secret. Anyone who talked would die. God tier was Holy Light Star's ultimate trump card. Other planets would try to kill me if they found out. He took me to his private study and explained the difference between talent levels. Holy tier talent, like Saint Tianjiao's, has a theoretical ceiling around level 195. Pushing past that requires astronomical resources. The Emperor himself was Holy tier. Going from 195 to 196 cost half of Holy Light Star's entire reserves. Getting to 199 took another 3,000 years, and the other half. That's why only top 10 planets could produce level 199 warriors. Nobody else had enough resources. God tier was completely different. Breaking past 195 only needed 1/10 the resources of Holy tier. With Holy Light Star's wealth, I'd definitely reach 199. 2 level 199 warriors on one planet would mean absolute dominance for 10,000 years. No other planet could match that. But God tier was also dangerous. If other planets learned about it, they'd throw everything at killing me before I grew strong enough. I asked how long it would take to reach 199. He said about 100 years with good resources. I thought that was too slow. He laughed. It took him 3,000 years. He mentioned a faster option, the Divine Fall Zone, an ancient battlefield where gods died. Their remaining power crystallized into God crystals. Each one was worth 10 years of normal training. But the place was filled with monsters that fed on those crystals and became impossibly strong. Over a dozen level 199 warriors had gone in throughout history. None came back. He also told me something important about levels past 100. Before 100, every 10 levels meant a 10-fold increase in base stats. After 100, it was 100-fold per 10 levels. That meant level differences mattered far more than talent at higher levels. Even with my 46 trillion times enhancement, I did the math. My level 100 stats were roughly equal to a level 130 genius like Saint Tianjiao. Above that, I'd lose. So raw power through leveling was now more important than ever. The Emperor said he'd give me the best resources, the best cultivation technique, and the best training environment. My only job was to level up as fast as possible. 100 years to become Holy Light Star's second level 199 king. I nodded. I understand. But in my head, I was already thinking about the Divine Fall Zone. 100 years was too long. I needed to find a faster way. The Holy Light Emperor gave me a thin golden book, the Holy Light Technique. A saint-level cultivation method, one of the top 3 in all second-tier planets. Less than 100 saint-level techniques existed. He explained the ranking. Common, Spirit, King, Emperor, Saint. Each level determined how high you could cultivate. Common level only reached 120. Spirit reached 140. King reached 160. Emperor reached 180. Only Saint level could take you all the way to 200. The Holy Light technique absorbed divine power 10 times faster than ordinary methods. 1 year of my training would equal 10 years for someone with a lesser technique. But it was extremely difficult to learn. Even the Emperor took 3 months to get started.